What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to another exciting episode of the True Earth Debates. All right, ready to get things kicked off here in just a moment. Thank you all for joining me. We got people piling in as usual. The Friday night flat smack should be a pretty good this one. I've aptly named the show Victory Lap. As you guys have heard the old saying, it's never too early to run a victory lap. I'm just kidding. I hope that this will be a great way to entice the Globers to come on in. Nobody likes to have somebody just running around claiming their victory early, right? So if they have some evidence, hopefully they can dish it out. But again, should be a good one. We got Lord Byron, Jeremy Bird over in the chat, and 5 other legends. More to come, I'm sure, folks. There is a link in the description if you guys want to support the show and you have a membership to Rockfin already. Awesome. If not, great time to go ahead and be a part of the winning team. They also have a lot of big updates coming. I'm sure it's going to be awesome. So, anyway, over on the YouTube side, we got Jeremy Bird, Justin Johnson, Tapered Bodies. We have Green Chili Bear, Ace, Samuel Paul, Setchler. What is up, my friend? Nuba, Run Boston Bear, Scott Matsnick. Let's see if I can keep up. These things are piling in already. Question the Answers, Nominal, Flat Plane, Oregon, Cross-Eyed Cyclops Bear, Lord Racer, what is up? Yeah, definitely hit that thumbs up. It helps out a ton. Helps out a ton. All right. We also have, I think I'm repeating, Adam Young, Nick. Awesome. So I did something very, very smart on my way over here and forgot my actual teacup. So this is awful. What are you going to do? So, have a cough, but I don't want to cough. So, let's just go ahead and dive right on in, shall we? Mischief Brew, Nominal, making it in late. Better late than never. Hopefully my audio sounds all right. My mic has been giving me some issues. I've relied on my co-hosts and guests to tell me if something is wrong, but it's just me today, but shouldn't be too much of an issue because we are doing the TikTok lives. So that's actually where we are going to go ahead and move on over to. Let's go ahead and get things fired away. I got everything loaded up already, ready to go, so we don't have to take all freaking day doing this thing. So without further ado, guys, let's go ahead and dive right on in. It's going to take it a second, of course, as usual. And it's going to make me have to re-put in the background. Epic. That is absolutely epic. And I've downloaded a bunch of stuff. There we go. Boom. Aha. All right, let's get on with it. As you guys know, you're going to get just a brief look at the back end. Troubling Tribune is live, of course. Troubling Tribune is live, of course. There we are. You know what, folks? Forgot my microphone. This is actually going to be pretty interesting.
Oh, you know what?
Oh, never mind. Right here.
Forgot my
awesome.
microphone.
Amateur hour, ladies and gentlemen. You know what, folks? Forgot my microphone. This is actually going to be pretty interesting. Oh, never mind. Right here. Awesome. Amateur hour, ladies and gentlemen. Alrighty, folks. Sorry about the amateur hour. We forgot where our headset was for just a second, but welcome to another True Earth Debate. We are excited to bring you another episode. Let's go ahead and dive right on in, my fellow truthers and mainstream zealots. Everybody likes to pile in, join the conversation. Whether this be your research, your pursuit of information, or just your weekend entertainment, right? We do welcome you. What is up, Waterworld? Make sure the sound's good over here. Perfect. Should be good. Folks in the chat can go ahead and let me know. Ant, what is up? Go ahead and smash the screen. Let's get this thing up to 5,000 likes ASAP so we can get some Globers in here. Looking to have a dynamite conversation. I've worked hard on some new slides, so hopefully you guys enjoy. Well, what is up? Hope everybody has had a wonderful week. It is a fantastic Friday, a flat smack Friday, if you will. Let's go ahead and get into it, shall we? In the box, or I should say in the comments, let's go ahead and do a poll. Quick poll. Smiley face if you are questioning the mainstream model, and sad face, crying face if you just believe the mainstream narrative. I'm in the True Earth. Lisa Hale, what is up? Jonathan, questioning the mainstream, always a good thing. Let's get triggered. Awesome. Pony-faced Corn Pop. I'm not so sure that Corn Pop was a bad dude. Who knows? Maybe Corn Pop just got a bad rap. James, what is up? Sir Frederick. Guys, go ahead and smash that. We're already at 1,000. We got to get to 5K ASAP, and we got to get some Globers in. So everybody share it out with your favorite Globers, and let's get ready to have the conversation. Or maybe just your friend who's not quite into the True Earth conversation just yet. You want to make sure that they get somebody good to talk to. I understand it can be a struggle out here in these parts. So lame people, faded signal, go ahead and lay it on us. Brain scratch. Don't know what you mean by quick. Quick is in like 2 hours, maybe. The True Earth, right? That is the question of the night. The F is it, right? Well, I think that it is a stationary plane with some topography over top. No curvature, no motion to be had. I apologize, my throat's a little scratchy. I've had a long week. I actually do most of my content over on the YouTube and Rockfin side, long form. So if you guys are wondering where MrTribune has been, where all the shorts have been, I've been putting in a lot of time over there. So go and follow, subscribe, whatever it is that you do. We do appreciate the support. It can be a struggle lying hard out here. Ha ha ha, super funny. Yeah, that's a hard projection, right? Another flurf, that's right. Maybe we should give you guys a good nickname like Glurg. And if we're flurfs, then maybe you guys are glurgs. All right. Let's go ahead and see what we have in here then, in the old toolbox, right? So, do appreciate you guys coming on. Let's start with the positive side, right? Because everybody always starts with like, well, what evidence do you have for your flat Earth claim, right? So here we go. I'm going to move out of the way so you guys can get a good look. Should be pretty cool. Proof for the plane. We have mirror flashes that go over 183 miles. This destroys the radius value proposed by the globe. As you guys know, if Earth is a globe, then it is the horizon is a curved edge, a leading sphere edge, of a leading sphere edge. Getting redundant there. So there you go. And mirror flashes, we've gotten them up to 183 miles for a 6-foot high observer. The horizons starts at about 3 miles. So. 3 miles. That's correct. All right, we got radio waves, also over 100 megahertz, clocked at over 2,700 miles. This would go right through the ionosphere. Anything over 40 megahertz does, so that's going to be an issue if you're going to claim that it's just bouncing. We also have sonar that goes 400 miles. Long distance photography, 275 miles confirmed, possibly more. There is a debate going on over a 616-mile observation and one that's even further. And then we also have microwave transmissions over 250 miles. And here's the kicker. All of this done by line of sight transmission. Line of sight transmission. So this would be positive evidence for the plane, right? This would be void of most fallacious reasoning. Right, that we're not going to rely on a authority to give us this. This is all stuff that we can test ourselves, terrestrial observations. We don't have to just invoke a model. It's very easy. You just point and shoot, line of sight. Prove how it's line of sight. That is a great, Johnny24Uddy, great question, right? Well, for starters, mirror flash and long-distance photography, literally, by definition, has to be line of sight. So you don't have to just take my word for it. You can just do a Google search for that. So as far as like the waves, right, that's probably what you're meaning. The radio waves, sonar waves, and microwaves. How do we know that that is line of sight? Great question. Here we have a great little source here that you probably have seen before. This is from Army Research Laboratory. You can go ahead and back check it. Propagation of electromagnetic fields over flat Earth. As you guys know, light, microwaves, radio waves, it's all part of the electromagnetic spectrum. So this goes ahead and covers all of it. So there you go. No, there's your source. You don't have to just Google it, right? But obviously, right? Do we have to have a debate that photography, that pictures is line of sight? How disingenuous can you be? Well, I think we're off to a fantastic start. 100 people has dwindled down to 76 after the Globers realized they were going to get their teeth kicked in. Not to be mean, it's just this show, by the way, is titled Victory Lap. So if nobody jumps in and debunks this my ignorant FE belief, then it will just be that. It will just be a victory lap. So. Yeah, only ad homs, no direct refutation of any of the claims, right? No direct refutation, that's okay, as per usual. We live in a bubble, guys. It's quite possible. Who knows? What is your opinion on seasons caused by the relative position of the sun over the Earth, same as it is in the globe Earth model? Next. By the way, guys, if this isn't clear, these are my opinions, right? I obviously can't claim to know anything 100% fact, right? I'm just some dude on the internet, so do your own research. Don't just take my word for anything, right? That's why I like to give little sources here, and then you can go and check it for it yourself, form your own opinion. I'm not one to just back up authority, right? MrTribune says this, therefore it's true. Not necessarily, right? Have been wrong before, will be wrong again, I'm sure, but we take it day by day. Does the sun change orbits or what? I'm a bit confused. Please explain. My teeth. You're a bit slow to speed, right? So you're probably trying to imagine the flat disk pizza Earth in a infinite space solar system model, because you have it in your head that the solar system model is all it could possibly be. But in actuality, imagine us as kind of like the basement of the known universe, right? And everything else is just above us. And we can have a system where everything is above us, right? So does the sun have a different orbit? The sun is over our heads, right? It's not actually going literally around the Earth. These comments make more flat earthers. It should be easy to refute, but only attacks. Is absolutely true, my reality. We're trying to just keep it cool. Obviously, if I'm wrong, and this is just some big misunderstanding, it should be pretty easy to just come on up here and show me where the heck it is that I've gone wrong. But please don't use some lame argument like, well, this is just to make the math easier, right? In my opinion, if it makes the math easier and dare I say more accurate, then that would be positive evidence towards that model being correct, right? However, they're modeling it to get their mathematical result, which would be flat Earth. How big is the sun? I don't know. I don't know. F your Cole. How big is the sun, right? Are you a mainstream coincidence theorist? I think it's a crazy coincidence that the sun and the moon appear to be the same size in the sky, and yet they're like 400 times the distance. It's like ridiculous how much farther the sun is claimed to be. What a coincidence. What a coincidence that electromagnetic waves propagate over a flat Earth, and as a line of sight at that, when you look into line of sight propagation, and you find out that it's actually just an illusion, right? It's actually curving away from us at a rate of 1.22 times the observer height. Man, I really wish I had my tea. MrTribune is forgot his teacup, so I just have this big old pitcher here and no actual cup. Would be nice if I could get some guests in here to hold down a conversation for just like 2 minutes, but we'll see. It's quite the victory lap. It's taking our sprint, running in stride, taking after Run Boston Bear, huge shout out. All right, Let's see if anybody is joining the guest. If anybody wants to, Waterworld, I see that you're watching in there too. If you want to click on the guest box, just make sure that it's working. So then the Globers are without excuse. That would be awesome. Also, be sure to share the show. I see there's only 4 shares. That's kind of sad, right? We have a lot of flat earthers in here, a lot of people in the pursuit of truth, and we can't really pursue the truth if we're in an echo chamber, right? So, Globers, that's you as well, right? If you claim to have the moral high ground, claim to have the truth, and that this is all just a silly pursuit, some sort of grift, if you will, then feel free to hop on in the box. If Earth is a sphere, it has massive miles of wide, flat spots in its oceans. That's absolutely correct, Shane. I believe that's indicated by side scanning sonar. Where's the edge? It would be, if there is an edge, it'd be somewhere past the 60th south parallel. There. Can you stop spamming a question? That's irrelevant and not proof of anything either way. Why is the Antarctic Treaty... why are people so disingenuous about the Antarctic Treaty, right? They say anybody can just go there. You just have to pay literally like up to $240,000 for the permits and for the vetting process. Ridiculous. The car czar, let me help you out. Earth is round. It's a very, very high IQ comment there. For actually like to offer some evidence behind that, right? Somebody come up and say the way the stars move or something silly. Only restricts military. There we go, Matthew Routledge. There we go with the disingenuous comments, right? Like people haven't seen us do full 2-hour breakdowns on the Antarctic Treaty, going through the different bylaws and what is required for you to actually go to actually go in. I have read the treaty. And after you pay the $250,000, you're not guaranteed to get the permits. Exactly, they can just keep your money. It's non-refundable. It's a non-refundable fee. Suck it. You want to talk about a grift, right? A grift would be locking down an area, charging people money for permits to go see it, and then denying the permits and saying it's non-refundable. They can deny you for anything also, because if you're going to be a impact on the environment, right, you're going to leave some footprints that are too deep. That you're taken out of there. So if you go into certain areas, even if you do get permits, you're going to be restricted on where it is that you can actually go. Jim from our world, welcome to the show. Thank you for testing out the box.
Yeah, how are you doing? Are you doing, Trouble? Can you hear me okay? Can you hear me okay?
Shoot. Hey, give me 1 second. Talk again.
Can you hear me okay?
You're very quiet.
Well, that's not good.
Yeah, you're incredibly quiet. I got my stuff all the way up. Hold on. Maybe it's my phone. Maybe I'm just an idiot. Talk again.
Hey, how's everybody doing?
Oh, it is me. Awesome. Thank goodness. I was really worried that my show was having some sort of issue.
Hey, Alan got me my earbuds today and a new microphone, kind of like you have. So on Mondays we're going to be rocking and rolling. I'm telling you, my friend.
That is awesome. That is absolutely. You sound great, by the way. There's no like echoing
Well,
and crackling.
I have just my iPhone here, but he's hooked me up with Restream and for my laptop, so I can use my laptop with my new microphone and my earbuds. Here, I'm just talking regularly like I always have. I'm looking forward to Mondays now.
Yeah, man, it's gonna be awesome.
Now we just got to get some Globers on Mondays, don't we?
All right, George, Jorge Physics, that you are definitely welcome to come into the Monday Night Open Live. I know that there's some people that are probably eager to have a conversation with you that don't have followers on TikTok. So that's kind of the kicker here, is that you have to have 1,000 followers. So what can you do? A lot of you Globers just aren't popular enough to come in here and try to take on MrTribune. What can you do?
Yeah, Jorge's more than welcome to come Monday night. Absolutely.
The Bible is round. That's awesome. I'll talk.
The Bible's round. Sure. Uh huh.
That's funny.
Oh my goodness.
Jorge, you're always a pretty decent guest if you want to hop in, fill some time until we get some Globers that want to come in and make some different arguments. I've actually stumbled across some pretty uh, interesting source for um, the curvature of visual space, right? One of the number one evidences that's always pointed out by the globe is the fact that things are actually like spherically right going down. Like you see the stars going down, you see the sun going down. Um, so this obviously indicates that we're on a sphere, right? Well, that's actually incorrect. We have some new information that has come to light. Let's go ahead and pull this up. Where do we want to start over here? Boom. This one was awesome to find. You guys can go ahead and check out that source, everything there for you. If you want a screenshot, direct measurement of the curvature of visual space. You got the abstract there. We found angular excesses and deficits of up to 30 degrees. 30 degrees. That's tremendous. From this data, we constructed the metric. The curvature changes from elliptic in near space to hyperbolic in far space, and at very large distances, the plane becomes parabolic. So this explains why we have these local observations of things curving, right? And then people are just working backwards from there, thinking that, well, the ground must be curving because everything operates with Euclidean geometry. So pretty great stuff there. And then this article, of course, this source leads you to a bunch of other sources that where they're testing this out and doing multiple alley experiments and whatnot, which I think is pretty funny. How this will just get hand waved away, right? This curved visual space is obviously a thing.
Alan pointed me in the direction of getting those foam pads that I can put on my walls. So that's what I'm doing now. I got him in this afternoon, and I'm putting the stickums on the back of them now. I'm putting them on my walls, so I have almost a recording studio now from now on. So cool, man. I love it.
Nice, dude.
A-
Always.
I tell you what, you and Alan and Shane, you guys know your stuff. I'm telling you right now.
All right, looks like we got another guest in the box. The Lizard King. What an epic name. Welcome to the show.
What's up?
Lizard King, welcome to the show.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Thanks for having me on.
Welcome to the show. What do you got for us today, my friend? Have you been listening or are you just joining?
Uh, I listened for like a minute, but I seen Waterworld 2.0 in here, so I thought this ought to be a good discussion.
I know who you are. How you doing, Lizard King?
Nah, I'm Chipotle Fabian. What's up, baby?
How you doing?
Good, good. Yeah,
I think
so
I think Lizard King's a concaver, if I remember right.
yeah, I'm a concaver. Yeah, I'm a concaver.
Gotcha. What's the best evidence you have for the concave Earth?
Oh, well, the thing is that I was a flat earther for 7 years, but I don't say that I have evidence for the concave. I just plain out say it's my opinion. Because that's one thing well, that's one problem I have, that they just prove NASA, yet they don't prove their own um, model. So I say it's just my opinion.
Okay,
Wow.
so let me go back for a second then. Since you haven't seen positive evidence for the flat Earth, we'll go ahead and start from the basics. So here we have what I would consider positive proof of the plane. This stuff works off of line of sight propagation. We have mirror flashes, 183 miles, radio waves, over 2,700 miles, sonar, 400 miles, long distance photography, 275 miles, microwaves, 250 miles. All of this is way further than the geometric horizon purports to be. I'm guessing whether that would be concave or curved. I'm open to the discussion though.
Yeah. You see, yeah. See, what if every single one of these um points, I guess, had an explanation on the concave. For example, the long distance photography, and the concave model. We agree that light bends upwards, so long distance photography would still be it'll be normal on a concave model. So that doesn't really prove that it's flat, you know?
Well, Lizard King, just so you understand what you basically said is you said, well, in my model that could still work because of this light phenomena.
Yeah,
You're explaining away that we are shooting at line of sight, right? So the base evidence, right? It's just basic to assume that okay, it's flat unless something
I
else
agree.
convinces us that it's concave.
I
So
agree.
yeah, I say this evidence, and then on top of the lack thereof of the evidence of curvature, whether convex or concave, um, would be would be my position.
Yeah, dude, honestly, I'm sweating. I'm sweating so bad. I just came in because I was chilling in the hot tub. Oh my god, this is getting tough for me. It's getting very tough for me.
All right, homie. Well, I'm gonna let you run then, and I hope that you get on out of there. Come on back after you get decent.
Chill, brother. Literally.
See you, Lizard King.
Oh, yeah, literally.
Hey,
Lizard King, thanks for coming up.
what's up, Tribune?
Hor-
How are you, brother? How you been?
Doing fantastic, Mr. Physics.
Yeah. This
Mister
kind.
Mister Pseudoscience is in the house.
What's
Here
up,
we
man?
go.
I am so excited. This has been a crazy week in science, man.
Yeah,
We turned the Milky Way galaxy into like a giant GPS array using pulsars
sure you did.
to make a gravity wave telescope. It
Oh
was
my
awesome.
God. Oh my God.
JWST just found images of is that essentially like cosmic gravity veins, 4 million light years long, that are stringing along galaxies. So it's super cool. We imaged the Milky Way in neutrinos. Neutrinos. Those things go through stars, bro. So anyway, so I'm super stoked. I got on Mid Journey, and I was like, give me some crazy science photos. Anyway, but we can talk a little flat globe if you want.
Hey,
That,
cool.
I think
Hey,
science is
Jorge.
exciting this week. But
Jorge.
yes, what's up,
Cool.
Lava? How are you, man?
Hey, good. Hey, cool story, bro. You can't prove any of that stuff in outer space. You
So,
guys violate Newton's third law of motion, second law of thermodynamics. You violate the inverse square law of light, physics of water. You think that photons, which are massless, can travel billions and billions of miles. You think the motion of the
right.
Earth goes around the sun, but every interferometer experiment ever has never proven that. And you guys can't come up with you guys see the effect of 9.81 meters per second squared, but you cannot ever prove it. And you still haven't come up with 8 inches per mile squared and how you can knock that out. That's 9 things I just told you. And you come in here and talk a fairy tale about about the James Webb finding something else out. You are so full of crap, it ain't funny.
Jeez
Dang, man.
Louise, passionate.
It's like
You
I
are
feel
so
I,
full of crap, Jorge. It ain't
except
funny.
except for everything you said. I am so
Do
proud
you
of
know what,
humanity.
Jorge? It's wrong to lie to children in grade school, and it's wrong to lie to adults when they get older. And you are a liar.
I just trying to disseminate standard knowledge, man.
That is
Not
not
lying.
Well, I don't.
standard knowledge. That is standard pseudoscience BS.
Tribune. What is the
Yeah,
fraction of flat earthers to globers in the world? If you
I
had to
don't
put
know.
a guess at it, like if you
It,
just had to calculate a percentage, like what
I'd
percentage?
say
flat Earth.
Did the sound get crazy for people, or is it just me?
It did.
We
It
back?
got crazy.
We good?
It got crazy for everybody.
Okay. Yeah. So anyway.
Sorry about that. My headset disconnected.
Okay. Yeah. It made some interesting noises.
My headset disconnected. That's my bad.
It made the noises I suspect this guy would make. So I'm sorry you believe at that level. I have no like personal problems with you, man. But I have no ulterior motives out here. I'm not looking to make a living or anything. So I'm just telling you what the standard science is, and I'm not asking for your faith in anything. You can just go look at the data, and you guys want to look at data. So I mean,
oh my God, were you asking Tribune a question about what population was who believed in flat? That.
Like ratios, fraction, or
whatever.
Hey,
Jorge. Since age 5, if not sooner, everybody has been indoctrinated with this thing. They've never been given a chance to go with anything other than a ball on a teacher's desk. They've never had an opportunity to go any other way. So your question is so disingenuous, you should be ashamed of yourself, but obviously you are not.
I am not. I'm not ashamed of myself. I'm not doing anything wrong.
All right, I'm gonna throw a flag out, and I'm gonna Waterworld. I'm gonna ask that you try not to ad hom so much, regardless of what personal beef or opinions that we may have.
Yeah,
you have to keep it an intellectual platform. You know what I mean?
I broke my hand. Have some sympathy level. I'm starting to recover. See, got my little.
I have no
buddy
sympathy.
Band.
I have no sympathy for pseudoscience liars who cannot prove anything about their outer space.
I'm going to go ahead and welcome T.E. Flatsmack. True Earth Flatsmack. Nice. Welcome to the show.
What's good? It's Chris Van Am. I got bananaed. They like to report.
Hey, Chris. How you doing, Chris?
What's good, everybody? Jorge and Water. What's good? What's good,
Hey,
Tribune?
Chris.
I will respectfully ask another Glober to come on in, help even up the tides a bit. I was going to go grab my teacup now that I had some guests in here, but Waterworld has just been off the handle with the ad homing. I love you, Waterworld. You know that, but I can't.
Jim Waterworld will no longer take prisoners from physicists, astrophysicists who come in here and give me a fairy tale, and they violate every major law of science. They are non-science. They are pseudoscience. We are the science. I am not going to take the credit.
See, this is one problem that I have with flat earthers, such as Waterworld, that he is coming with a lot of opinions. You know, I admit that my concave model, I spew out a lot of opinions, but I can at least admit that his opinions. Unlike Waterworld, he just comes in and says that people are indoctrinated and that. I want to talk, let's talk math or something.
We want to talk math. We actually want to talk. Hey, does math prove the ball? Yes or no?
I never said it did.
Okay, I'm not going to talk math because there are approximately 80 shapes of the Earth that we can possibly go with. 80, and math can prove the majority of them. And if you have presuppositions and you have Texas sharpshooter and you have all that stuff going in, you go in with the conclusion, and all your premises validate the conclusion that you go into.
But I didn't.
You can get anything you want to.
But I didn't. So you just lied again. Come on, dude. Honestly,
I didn't say about you. All this. See, Concave is a joke. It's a psyop. But Jorge actually lies.
What's this argument about?
I mean, yeah. Kyle, welcome to the show. Waterworld, you're on thin ice, man. One more ad hom, I'm gonna have to let you go because I don't want to get my stuff kicked. I'm gonna be allowing you to bully people in my chat.
Me?
But Kyle, welcome to the show. What do you have for us?
No. I just joined and I love these discussions, but I don't even know what you guys are arguing about right now.
Yeah. You don't have to be quiet level. It's all good, man. Just don't be mean.
Yeah, just don't be mean.
I heard the word math and I was like, I want to talk about math.
I put equations up. We can talk about
math. I came in
Before we get too far into math, would you guys all agree that there's a correlation mathematically between a circle, a sphere, an inverse circle? Would you guys all agree on that?
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go ahead, man. I'm looking for. Go ahead. What did you say? A sphere has an inside and outside?
I said, is there a correlation between a circle and a sphere? Let's just keep it to that. Is there?
Yes.
Sure.
Yes, there
Yes,
is.
it's a
Okay.
projection. Yes, there is.
Okay, go ahead.
A circle is a projection of a sphere.
Yes.
Hey, look! Hey, look! There's the. I have this in my hand now. I have a steampunk hand.
Oh, nice.
Anyway, so what we're, yeah, so that's.
Am I
So what's
done?
going on, Chris? I mean, what? So I don't know. Are we talking concave Earth? Are we talking flat Earth?
No, I'm just. So
Are we
we're
talking
making all these assumptions about the shape of the Earth based on the radius, which we know from the equator, which we know from the apparent
All right,
position
I'll
of the
pass
sun
on
on the
this one.
spring and fall solstice, right? That's one of my problems because we're basing land amount based on
Be right.
the current orbit of the sun, right?
Yeah, sure, man. I'm just so
Would you
excited.
agree
Like,
to that?
Chris, I'm just so excited about the other stuff that's happened in science. But yes, somebody asked me if there were any facts in science, and I usually don't like go outs, but like there are some actual facts. Like the Earth is an oblate spheroid. That's a fact.
No, it isn't.
We orbit the sun.
There's
That is
no
a
fact
fact.
to that.
That is a fact.
Okay,
That
wait,
is
wait.
Observable, measurable fact. And we have thousands of satellites in orbit around an oblate spheroid Earth. That is a fact. Like that shit is happening.
Okay,
And
but
that's
we
not
have
Okay, so
theory,
how would
and
you,
that's
how
not
would you
math.
prove
Hold math and theorizing, but it is not that. It is reality. So if you want facts, now I'm not going to sit here and tell you that quantum electrodynamics is fact, but it is an extremely good approximation to the fundamental forces in nature, except for gravity, and general relativity is the good explanation for that. I'm not saying those are facts. They're good theories, but the shape of the Earth and the heliocentric stuff, that's a fact. That shit is just happening. There's no need to even talk about it.
Okay, wait.
It's mundane
So
AF,
this is
dude. Literally. Especially
hold on,
given what has
Jorge.
happened this week.
You're on a tangent, bro. You're monologuing a
You're
little.
good. Hey, my bad,
Go
Chris.
ahead.
I went off. I'm gonna chill.
No, it's all good.
I'm going on.
You're very passionate about your model. That's cool.
Tribune,
No problem.
you went
But
away,
all
and
that
I
stuff,
needed monitoring.
yeah. So all that stuff, right, is you're saying it's fact based on arguments from authority. I'm saying in observable reality, everyone can measure and test themselves. Water conforms to the shape of the container and always finds and maintains level. So when you're saying, well, we have all these mathematical equations, how it works out, and water's yelling how we can't prove curvature, I'm just going to stick with the physics of water. Sorry, motorcycle. Anyway,
Well,
would you disagree? Would you disagree with the physics of
water
water?
does not always remain flat.
Water at rest does.
No, it doesn't.
This is that thing
So we
that
have,
Globers say doesn't exist.
Seriously, it doesn't. Not always. It doesn't always remain flat.
can you give me an example, like a real-time example where water at
Yeah.
rest is not always flat?
Well, you're saying water at rest now, but water doesn't always remain flat. For example, water bubbles or water in a cylinder does not always remain flat.
Large bodies of water at rest. Can you hear what he said?
Okay, now you're adding extra stuff into it, water bubbles. This is the
Large
problem.
bodies of water. We're not talking about meniscus and a bead on a leaf or a windshield.
I understand it, and I probably agree with you, water. I'm just saying.
Hey guys, I'm sick and tired of your lies. I'm going to call you out every single time. I'm sick and tired of your lies. Jorge, large bodies of water at rest do not bend. If your globe is 71% water and large bodies of water at rest cannot bend, 36% of that 71 is not curved and 35 is flat. It's all flat It's all 71%. Large bodies of water.
You're flat.
I don't care if
Water
you got
world,
your little finger going around.
water world, you're flat.
It-
Water world, you're flat. And your
Hey,
picture is
Tribune,
deep fried.
I got
You
the
have a hell of
PG.
a deep
I
fried
got the
picture.
PG finger up. So take it easy, brother.
Oh my goodness. Oh my.
Water
What
world,
a-
you're water world.
Jorge,
So
Who
wait,
deep
wait,
fried? Water world.
wait.
Why is everybody getting so
You
triggered?
give Everybody.
Yeah, I'm not triggered. I'm trying to calm the situation.
What the heck?
How is
So-
it that
I agree,
Chris is
Chris.
the calmest person in
Water
world?
live? You know it has
Water
gone
world?
off the rail. Hey,
It
Chris,
is.
props, brother.
Water world. I'm gonna need you. Water world. I'm gonna need you to bring it down 3 notches. Down.
Yeah, 3. Oh, I can't
Okay.
do 4.
Hey guys, I am not going to stand for liars from this day forward. Period. Jorge,
Okay.
you come.
Water
You
world.
come on.
Water world.
Jorge,
Water world.
Jorge, you
Water
come
world.
on.
Who
You
deep
come
fried?
on troubling.
Water world.
Jorge,
Who deep fried your profile picture?
Jorge,
Who deep fried your profile picture?
All right.
Jorge, you come on Troubling's show on Monday night on the panel. You and me, Troubling can be there, and you and I can go at it for as long as Troubling wants. You and me, this month.
Monday Night Raw. Monday Night Raw.
I will do it under the condition that you refrain from name calling or well poisoning.
Yeah, level.
Jorge,
I'm
Monday night.
happy to talk, and I will say, level is the key here. This is a semantics thing. What is level? Level is being at
there
the
you go.
same potential energy in a gravitational field. That is level.
Oh my God.
So,
my-
so
Hey,
this
Monday-
is,
hey,
this
okay,
is
wait,
your
What
wait,
was
wait.
level
surface.
before gravity?
So that's a theoretical explanation, right? What about a practical explanation? Say you were a carpenter, and I were to ask you to build a level 4.
No, it's just, dude, the practical explanation is zoom into what I've shown here 1,000,000 times, but by a factor
So
of a
there
million,
is a
and you will essentially
correlation
just
between
be at
a
a
sphere and a
straight line.
circle.
That is the practical application.
Because
It's
you're
called
showing us a
scale.
circle to
George.
demonstrate your model.
Scale
Okay,
is the practical accuracy. Sorry, man. Yes.
Scale could be a reason, possibly why we don't see it, but you're explaining away the observation. You're explaining why we don't see curvature. Yeah, the fact
'cause you
is
zoomed
the
into that.
well, no, the actual observation is that we don't see curvature, and we don't have good evidence to assume that there is curvature, right? So, here we go.
That's the level. If the Earth was a perfect sphere, that would be the level. That's
Just gonna
when we
ignore.
say level, that is level. And what you're talking about is a local approximation to this curve. It is locally flat.
Is it still local when we're doing what is it, bethmology, bathymeter? What is it when you're measuring the bottom of the oceans, the shape of the ocean floors? I can't remember what it was called.
I forget what it's called. Yeah, I understand.
Yeah, that's you look at those. That's literally they don't assume any curvature in that between continents. So, that's literally a name call.
Abysmal plains.
Nail in the coffin.
Like more than 50% of the ocean is these plains that are like the flattest plains on Earth.
There's also 4 vantage points of which we can send sonar to map out over 80% of the world's oceans. It's demonstrable distances that we get with sonar.
And we have satellites that are just in orbit mapping the surface.
We have
and
satellites which violates Newton's third law of motion. Thanks for playing, Jorge.
How? Could you explain that to me? I am actually not creative enough to understand how you just said makes sense. Explain it to
Everything
me. Like
down here on Earth, whether you're in a submarine in water, whether you're running, whether you're in a car, whether you're in an airplane, no matter what, always has an opposite motion going forward, has an opposite medium pushing back against it. Everywhere here on Earth.
How does that prove? Hold on, but how does that prove?
You have
you're not,
10 to the negative
Yeah,
17
that's-
torque in outer space. Jorge, you have nothing to push against in outer space except your imagination.
Waterworld, you're I'm sorry, I'm so sorry. MrTribune, is that what they call you? Or who's Jorge?
I'm Jorge. Go ahead, man. Go do your thing.
Yeah, no, I apologize. I just think that Waterworld, I think this discussion of flat Earth or round Earth, whatever, is a great discussion. I love it, but I think you're not doing flat Earth justice.
Okay, hey, that's your
'Cause you're
opinion.
just talking a bunch of-
That's your opinion as a concave nut job. Very good. Thank you.
And I can admit, yeah.
Snap.
Jeez.
Damn, Jim.
All right,
Easy on the guy.
Jim, I love you. You're gonna have to take a timeout, man. They're gonna get me if I don't get you. So, feel free to come back after you've calmed down a bit. Um,
If you're still here, Jim, I'm gonna do a TikTok on how rockets fly. It's super simple, man. Stuff shoots out that way, and the rocket goes out that way because of what you said, not despite of what you said, because of what you said.
Wait.
That's what
But
recoil is on a pew pew.
yeah, we understand how it works
that force.
terrestrially.
No,
We're
no,
saying that without a medium, you can have fluid propulsion, and I think that's all he was trying to say.
Yeah.
Jorge,
He's
the,
saying
the
flying
analogy
an
doesn't
airplane.
work. Hold on, the analogy doesn't work with the pew pew because the pew pew is in an atmos. It has a medium to bounce against. So
Yeah. So
pew pew in the pew pew in the vacuum does the same thing. Can you show that?
Yeah. I mean, because that's how it works. So I had a dog that was standing on a little stool, and it jumped in one direction, and the stool went the other way. Have you ever seen something like that happen with a pet, where they jump from a position and it goes one way and the pet goes the other way?
Okay, but has
Has anybody in the chat seen that? Because if you have, you now understand how a rocket flies. That is the same principle. And now what you're telling
That's
me
not even close. The dog
Yeah.
is pushing. The
Dude,
dog is adding a direct vector to the direction that the stool is being flung.
you see
So
that? This is not an appeal to credentials, but I'm telling you, Tribune, that is how it works, my friend. That because of the equal and opposite forces, because it just works that way. Mass goes off that. If you're
I could even make the argument that the dog and the stool are in the atmos as well, and that would demonstrate. I mean, you get where I'm going with that.
Yeah, but
But
air.
that's kinetic energy, right? That's
Yes.
kinetic energy
It's the same thing.
from the dog.
Yeah, the dog
So
kicks
what
off in one
would
direction, the stool goes the other way.
Physics tell us about the kinetic energy of gas. Has it ever been observed being affected in lab conditions by gravity, or
Have you ever
anything
felt?
like that?
Have
Sorry
you ever,
for pulling
now, have
out
you
of
ever
left
felt
field.
the breeze? Have you ever felt the breeze? Like wind. If you felt wind on your face, you know that moving air can exert pressure. And it does that by having mass. And so if it has mass, it can affect other mass, and that's all we're saying.
But there's
Man.
just
So
hold on, but that isn't that all under assumption again?
and that's a gas.
Isn't it all under
And that's a
assumption
gas.
again?
Air is just like no, man. Gases can exert pressure.
Well, I
There's a whole
understand.
theory. There's a theory.
You say there's a whole theory.
And
That's what I'm saying.
yeah. So, but the atmosphere, and it's simple to think about. I mean, our atmosphere is mostly of what oxygen and nitrogen gas, a little carbon dioxide mixed in there, and other stuff. And these are just molecules, and they have mass, and they interact with you and other molecules. They bounce off of them. It's electrostatic. You guys like electrostatic? That's all electrostatic. Ultimately, what makes things hard. There's a, but what is keeping all that stuff macroscopically to the ground is not electrostatic. But so all those little particles interact, and they have mass. If you shoot a bunch of
Hey,
gas
host.
particles in one direction, that are coming out of a nozzle, your rocket's going to go the opposite direction, just to try to conserve momentum.
Okay, but the thing about that is that entropy increases, and the kind of pressure differential that they claim between outer space and where they launch rockets increases in magnitude exponentially. You understand how the entropy, like the suckage power of a vacuum, increases in magnitude based on the pressure differential, right?
Yeah, I'm not sure about the gradients of the pressure differential and the effect on that.
Host, I appreciate you having me on. Host, I appreciate it, but my blood pressure, I can feel it going up, and I'm very upset, and my cholesterol, I can feel that shit. I'm heading out, dude. I can't take this anymore.
Lizard King, thanks for joining us, man. Peace.
I don't have a snack. Thank you. I'm
Sorry.
getting very upset.
Sorry. Tribune, man. People getting upset at this live, man.
It's what happens. But the reason why people are getting upset is because you're going off of all these mathematical theoretics, and the fact of the matter is that in order for the theories to even remotely be true, right, you have to show obviously some sort of experiment, some demonstration, something to actually prove your concept. I'm not even talking about the scale thing. Every time you point at that circle, it's like, are you even listening to what I'm talking about? Or
Tribune, if you are truly, genuinely curious, you will understand this one day. because it is not that hard, and you are a smart guy.
The thing is that I do understand it. I actually had a good grade in Earth space science, and that's why I was able to wrap my head around the flat Earth arguments pretty quickly. So, I mean, to simply say that I don't understand is ridiculous. I've made actually a lot of very direct claims that should be pretty easy to refute. That not one of the direct claims that I've made about the flatness of the Earth or the debunks of the globe has actually been addressed directly. So that's why I'm just kind of like confused, right?
Well, happy to talk to you about any of those, man.
Yeah, sure. So, I mean, I think it's weird that electromagnetic waves, long story short, propagate off of line of sight over a flat Earth, and we just pretend that it's a globe, right? And you can even, I'll go a step further and say you can even have something above the flat Earth that stuff is bouncing off of. In the electromagnetic wave propagation things, they actually have that. So, but the thing is that they are actually assuming Earth is a plane and that there's a plane above that things are bouncing off of, multiple actually. So, I mean, I don't know why we have that terrestrial, and we're just going to assume that because above us that stay above us, that means that we have to be a sphere in this infinite void.
Have you heard of the Schumann resonance?
I've heard of it, but the Schumann resonance was debunked recently. I mean, that was just a
No, no, it's
that was
real.
just an
It's
equipment
real.
that was an equipment error.
No, no, it's real, but you know, it's the lightning is a broadband emitter of electromagnetic radiation, and some of it is in resonance. It's the right wavelength to wrap itself around the Earth, so you get it. It travels around the Earth. So so there are electromagnetic waves that will, because Earth is like a resonant cavity, a very large, and they will resonate within it if they have the right wavelength. But there are other radiation that will not do that. Like if you shoot microwaves from one spot in the Earth, they will go into space. Like if you shoot them parallel to the ground where you are, those microwaves will eventually go to space. If you shoot certain frequency, like maybe it's radio waves, they might come back around the Earth behind you, all the way around. But in
So
general,
here's the thing, like
you
you're
shoot
just saying what it
microwaves that
could
do that.
do. You're
No, I'm
saying what
saying
it
I'm saying what it does. You know, I've worked on systems that do that.
No, so what you do is that you have two pieces of equipment that receive a signal, and you're assuming that because that these two pieces of equipment receive the signal, that means that it wrapped around a presupposed curvature of the Earth. When these signals are actually being mapped out by the highest sources, here's one right here, again, Army Research Laboratory. It's electromagnetic fields over a flat Earth. They're not assuming curvature at all. They have it mapped out like it's flat, and the way that they're shooting these waves as if it's line of sight to the target. This would not work if it was a globe, but you're saying that it just happens to work that way because it is a globe, but it also has this shelf. You're explaining away the observation. You're not actually adding a positive piece to your point, right? You're just explaining it away with right? The actual evidence of the curvature of the Earth that then we can say, okay, now the waves have to be wrapping around this curvature because we've measured the curvature. Does that make sense?
It does make sense.
First
And
principle, right? We just got to start with the first principles. Where's the
yeah,
curvature?
and really the first principles are Maxwell's equation. So if you want to talk about this problem, so electricity and magnetism. So the solution of electromagnetic fields is a complex partial differential equation, and to get analytic solutions, which is what you need sometimes just to kind of understand a system, you have to make certain approximations. So having a waveguide or a resonant cavity that's a flat plane has a simpler solution set than when it has a sphere. So that paper you have up there, I'm sure it's fine for whatever application that they are using. But the Army has tracking systems that track objects in space, and those things go through the atmosphere. They don't. So you shoot it parallel to the ground, it eventually goes into space. It has a certain field of regard. It can see around in this direction. I'm glad I have my little globe. And so this is just kind of simple geometry, and these systems exist. I could look up one right now, and I'm sure what you have there, Army Research Laboratory, you could probably look it up. Now look up something like a tracking radar refraction, atmospheric refraction or something, and And they have to account for the fact that when you look in this direction, there's a lot more atmosphere than when you look in that direction, which is fine. That works on globe and Earth, right? I mean, globe
Correct.
and flat. That's not an issue.
Yeah,
But
bud. There you go.
the amount of
Globe
atmosphere,
and Earth.
but the amount of atmosphere you traverse when you are here perpendicular along the horizon is not infinite. Like you can still see stars. If this happened to a plane like that, it would be infinite length, so you'd have infinite attenuation, and you would see nothing at the horizon. So like all the stars and stuff would just start to disappear. But we do see stars when we look in the horizon in that direction. So this little strip here is our atmosphere. You know, there's a lot of atmospheric physics, and it depends on how you look relative to your zenith. The zenith is straight up, and that in itself is another piece of evidence that the Earth is curved. And I'm sorry I got heated before, about this stuff. But this is, I have no problem with flat. I do flat Earth physics every once in a while, just if I'm studying a concept.
Is that assuming a local tangent?
Well,
So
sure, man.
yes, it is absolutely the zenith, right? You got a local tangent, aka
you're absolutely right.
your observations of a flat Earth, right? Based on
and
the
exactly,
small
Chris.
scale.
And that's why I always tell you, is like the flat Earth is a decent approximation, like locally. It doesn't do a bad job there, and you can use it for small scale science. And that paper right there, they're trying to do something. I don't know why they have a electromagnetic fields over flat Earth. That's fine. I've solved in a rectangular waveguides problem.
So if what you're saying is true, and if what Tribune's saying is true about the electromagnetic propagation distance, there should be some sort of shadow from the physical blockage of the curve. Do we have any actual evidence of that shadow?
You mean like when you look like through here?
Because there would be like a gap between where it bounces off the ionosphere, like they claim,
well, no, that's
and bounces back down to the Earth. So there would be like a shadow, if I'm correct.
So this is why we get to these discussions where we're actually both there will be radiation, let's call it the ionosphere, and bounce back. That's kind of there's certain radio waves. I think the CB radios, is that right? Those old school radios you could communicate with people on the other side of the world. I think they took advantage of the scattering off the ionosphere to get over the horizon communications. But that doesn't work for like visible light, right? That doesn't work for microwaves. It doesn't work for gamma rays. It's very wavelength dependent. And so
why wouldn't we assume that that's just the attenuation of the wave then, instead of the curvature blocking it, right? If the curvature was blocking it, then why wouldn't we assume that would be or hold somewhat consistent? But it doesn't. It's actually vastly different for each strength of wave.
If you have a telescope, Tribune, or maybe I can get somebody that has a telescope. Is there anybody in the chat that has a telescope? If we could track a star going from zenith down to the horizon one night and just keep track of its intensity, you will see how much the intensity drops by, and you can make an assumption that the atmosphere is some thickness and compare the two models. Okay, I have a flat Earth model. The star went in that direction along a plane, or it went this way along a curve, and you could compare the losses due to attenuation for the path lengths. I mean, I could calculate, if somebody does that, I will calculate the atmospheric refraction term using a spherical model and a flat model. And I have some atmospheric models. They're good to like 100 kilometers.
The issue with assuming the two different models is that even when you're assuming both models, actually, you're going to assume pure Euclidean geometry, and we actually know that's actually not the case, right? That we're dealing, even regardless of what we're dealing with, the visual field that we have seen has actually been measured out. It's actually harder to see now that it's been blocked by the boxes, so I do apologize for that. But basically, curved and hyperbolic space is what it is when it's at a distance, and then when it's at a super far distance, it is parabolic. So Now, you could go into there and then find the specifics, like at what distance would it specifically change. But this is actually significant because flat earthers get challenged often to do to recreate observations on these small scales. And the thing is that we're dealing with two completely different visuals fields that have been directly measured. So it's actually elliptical when it's in the local space, and it doesn't become hyperbolic until you get some distance. So to try to create a small scale, like mountain observation, right, and recreate the same effects of the curved visual space would be impossible. Or at least I wouldn't know how to do it, I should say.
So I'm looking this up, what you have up there.
Yep.
But what you said sounded
I'm
really complicated,
having
man.
issues with my volume. Tribune, I'm gonna back out. Thanks for having me on.
No worries. Thanks for coming on. You sounded great from this end, though, just so you know.
Yeah, you did.
Later.
Good talking to you, bro.
Peace out.
What's up,
Slayer? Slayer, welcome to the show. Dragon, OGK, welcome to the show. Appreciate you guys being patient.
I have time to talk to you in even longer.
What's up, Jorge?
How you been, brother? Hey, look,
What's
man.
up,
Did you see my hand earlier?
What?
Did you see the screw in my hand? I'm gonna bring it up. Anyway, go ahead, guys.
No, I haven't seen the screw in your hand. Thank you. Appreciate that.
I broke my hand, man. Look, I got this pin in my hand. I'm a bionic man now.
How'd you break your hand? Did you hit a gravity pocket and did it trip you?
I'm an idiot.
We can rebuild him faster.
Okay. I literally tripped and fell playing soccer. So anyway, it's real stupid, man.
Stronger than before.
So Jorge, I just wanna actually get Tribune. Jorge, for staying so calm while you're trying to play chess with the pigeons.
Oh, the pigeons. Nice. Already with the ad homs.
Already ad hom, and that's
oh
the
my.
first thing he does.
There we go.
I had to get that in there, man. I was hearing water run on and on forever, and
Sure. Well, never mind water, right? Can you refute anything that I've presented?
I give you kudos for giving him the boot.
Well, I gave him warnings, right? There's only so much that you can do as a host, so gotta uphold the show integrity.
And Dragon, I'm genuinely like we're internet friends out there, like Tribune and Slayer and Chris. I mean, I like these guys. So
I like you, Jorge. Me and you have had some heck of a comment or heck of conversations before. We've had some really good conversations before, me and Jorge.
And I think all of us, that the guys we just mentioned, we can actually really disagree about stuff and keep it pretty civil. Like, we rarely attack each other. And I got pretty heated earlier, but there was no personal attacks.
Yeah, well, still you kept it pretty calm, so.
Yeah.
But
I appreciate you, Slayer. Good
Dragon,
seeing you,
did you notice the first thing you did was come in and start attacking people and calling them names and trying to show that you were dominant over them?
I don't know about all that.
Slayer,
Well, he
I
called
was not calling
pigeons.
people
Are
names.
humans,
No. Were you part of the conversation? Slayer, you were not part of the conversation. He was having a conversation with Waters, okay? So when A and B are having a conversation, see yourself out.
Were you a part of the conversation, or were you listening to the conversation? Because if you weren't a part of the
All right,
conversation,
guys.
A and
Here
B
we
were
go.
to your way out.
Oh,
All right,
snap.
pointless back and forth, right? There's no argument. There's no value there. Let's dial it back in. And also,
I have a comment. The reason actually I joined was because the gentleman who just left, he was talking about the suction of the vacuum.
Please don't say vacuums don't suck, dude. We already know that, right? It's such a disingenuous statement.
So explain to me.
It just shows that you.
What does a vacuum have that would suck? Like what is creating that force to pull something?
Are you serious?
Yeah, it's an honest question.
Well, would you say that a tornado sucks things into it?
We're not talking about a tornado, genius.
Well, you use the same wind and you create the same funnel and the same tornado in a vacuum to suck stuff up.
That's
in
not
it,
vacuum.
bud.
That's not.
Hey,
vacuum.
Dragon.
That's
Pressure.
No. Hold on.
A difference in pressure.
So
right, that's what
not
caused
vacuum,
it.
That's suction, and difference in pressure is only because
That's
there
not
is-
vacuum. That's
What is
suction.
a tornado?
So dumb.
Difference in pressure.
Dude, come on.
Okay, explain to me.
It's
how
the same
does
thing.
Pressure. Hold on. What's the pressure? How does the pressure go from, like wherever the pressure is in the vacuum? How does it translate? If you're going from the surface of the Earth and you're going up in altitude, what happens to the pressure, and how does it change gradually? There's a gradient there, right? Why is there a gradient there?
It's actually a dynamic system that's constantly in flux, but generally the lighter gases stay on top and the heavier ones are on the bottom.
That's not true.
That's absolutely
That's
100% true.
You just said gases are a mixture. No, because gases.
Dragon OGK, hold on? Are you suggesting that our atmosphere or plane is not dynamic? It's not in constant motion and flux due to the forces.
It's very homogeneous. It's very homogeneous. You cannot just go to higher elevation and say, "Oh, all I find here is hydrogen." You know what I mean?
Never said that. I never said that you'd only find one thing. I said that it's dynamic. Generally, I said generally, and generally that is true.
Gases move. The molecules in the gas, the atoms, they're constantly moving. So they're bouncing off each other, and they are homogeneous.
Can I pause you for a second, Dragon? Is this your idea of like when you self-projected when you were like playing chess with the pigeons? Because you said no to the fact that I said it was a dynamic system, which means that it's constantly in flux. Maybe you just didn't know what I meant by dynamic system. No, you said you just said no. You said no to the whole thing. You said no to the whole thing.
No, listen.
And generally.
You specifically said no. You specifically said Slayer. You specifically said lighter
Let's bring in a third party.
Go up.
Jorge, you know what I said. Is what I said accurate? Yes or no?
I didn't hear what you said. If you want to repeat, I will comment.
Yeah, I'll repeat it.
About the molecules.
No, about
the heavier. The larger molecules and the lighter molecules kind of separating? I
said that generally the heavier gases are on the bottom and the lighter gases are on the top, but we are in a dynamic system, meaning it's constantly in flux. It's changing based on the forces. So is what I said completely and utterly accurate and Dragon's full of crap? Or
no, again, you were saying utterly whatever. You're putting words in his mouth. Slayer, keep yourself out of the conversation.
It seems.
I'm a part of this conversation.
I appreciate it, Jorge. I know it was fine. I know that's how it works.
Typically, dense stuff is on the bottom of the less dense stuff. That is.
However, in our atmosphere, it's pretty homogeneous. You don't go to higher altitude and only find heat. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I did not make that claim. Tribune did.
Yeah.
No, I didn't.
No, he did not.
No, I didn't.
You should listen to what he said. The pigeon put.
That's true.
You did not put me in checkmate.
So the lighter gases, right? Plural. Dragon, plural.
Changing his words.
We're not talking about gases right
now. Hold on,
about the atmosphere. No, hold on.
Gases are the atmosphere, bro. Gases are the atmosphere.
We're not talking, but what you were saying is the lighter gases are up top.
Yes.
So that's why the pressure is less. Heavier gases are down below.
This is demonstrable.
That's why the pressure is high.
This is demonstrably true.
So that's your claim that the heavier gases are down below, which is why there's a higher atmospheric pressure at the sea level compared to at a higher altitude, let's say 10,000, 20,000, 30,000.
I'm actually not asserting cause. So I'm actually not asserting cause as to why it is what it is. What I will say is that the denser things are, in fact, on the bottom generally, and the lighter things are generally on the top. But it is a dynamic system, meaning, like you said, you won't always find the lighter things only up top and the heavier things only on the bottom, right? You'll actually find them in different areas, but they will shift, right, because of pressure, because of the pressure difference, right? The same thing that you couldn't seem to believe that we understood when it came to vacuums.
Because you did not, obviously, because you said vacuum sucks.
Well,
that's actually not what I said at all. I said I hope that that's not what you're going to say because we already know that that's the case, right? So I hope.
Then you gave an example of a tornado or a pressure differential, which allows the stuff to move from a higher pressure to a lower pressure as your argument that that's why a vacuum sucks because it's a lower pressure system.
You said suction.
That is why a vacuum sucks, bro.
Okay,
that is why a vacuum sucks.
Again, we're not talking about a vacuum cleaner, bro. We're talking about the vacuum space.
Can you just debunk? Like, how are you refuting what we're saying in any way?
Because your understanding
you just back up each time.
Density, because the thing is, what you don't understand is the reason you have denser atmosphere down below is because of gravity, not because of the denser gases are down below.
I never asserted cause. But since you're asserting cause, can you prove this force of gravity?
Unproven theory.
Find a roof and try jumping from it.
Okay, so you
I'm heavier than the medium that I jump into, and I cannot float in the medium that I jump into.
That's true.
So therefore, I sink. That is fluid propulsion. I'm not buoyant in the fluid that I just jumped into. There is a fluid, and if you don't believe me, you can look that up.
What's the equation for buoyancy, Slayer? Since you just brought
let's go
buoyancy
prior
up
to
in there.
1566.
What direction does density and buoyancy have? We have a physicist. We have Jorge in here. Jorge, can you tell me what force does density exert on something?
Well, okay, Jorge.
And what direction?
Prior,
The force is greater than gravity on Earth. That would.
Yeah, so
upthrust was the true name of buoyancy before they changed the name. Upthrust, the direction and the force. If you think thrust isn't a force, then we can say you're wrong. And if you think up isn't a direction, we can say you're wrong. Upthrust, the direction and the force. Convenient.
What force can you measure for that downward vector?
If you're heavier, you sink.
I have a picture of this, but yeah, if you want to solve for,
I think some people just like to argue.
I know, without refuting anything. Actually, like I've made some pretty damning claims to the globe, and nobody even wants to touch it. It's pretty disheartening.
So one of the beautiful things about Newton is Newton came up with a method for us to solve the dynamics of objects that are subject to forces, right? And so if I have a ball in the air or in the water, if I put a force on it and I want to find out what happens to that ball after I put the force on it, I can use Newton's second law to solve that. But all I have to do is sum up all the forces. So on that ball, what are the forces acting on it? Well, there's gravity pulling it down. You guys can call it Schmaloni. I don't care. It's represented as some force through math. And
are we calling it Schmaloni or what?
So it's gravity. It pulls down, so that's force.
You're
then
not
there's
accounting for that force.
There is a force of drag that will act in the opposite direction that the object is moving. So when it's flying, it will slow down, and that force of drag depends on a few things. But basically, denser objects have less drag. Some amount that it's in creates a force that's opposite gravity. And that buoyant force basically has a magnitude, a difference in the masses of the object and the fluid or air you displace. And that is why when you take that same ball and throw it in the air, it may go 10 feet. And if you take it into water, it may not go anywhere. It may just flow straight up. Let's say you have a lead ball. You throw a lead ball in the air, it has a trajectory. And it flies, 30 feet if you throw it hard. You take that lead ball into the water and throw it with that same force, it's going to have a vastly different trajectory. The difference is the buoyant force is much greater because water is much denser, and the drag is much greater, so it slows down a lot. And this is all basic physics.
Okay, so I got somebody has a mic that's super duper low. I did want to take a chance to welcome Stephen Carter to the show as well. He's been on the back burner. No, your mic is fine. I don't know who was talking before that I could barely hear you.
Is my mic a little hot, Tribune? I just got back on my setup. Do I need to back off a little?
No, you're fine, Jorge. Jay, your mic is fine as well.
Okay.
Slayer, you're a little low.
Jay, what's going on, man?
What's up, man?
I haven't talked
Steven?
to you in a few days. You're another one of the guys that I like to go talk to.
Turn it up a little bit.
I've had a good talks with you.
Mine's up all the way, man.
Awesome, man. Appreciate you guys coming on. Welcome to the show.
On that, with you saying that, of course, when you change mediums, you have a medium that gets thrust unless you use more power. So, of course, going through water, you're not going to get the same trajectory or the same distance out of the same thing because the medium is a lot denser. And it's harder for it to fire through, just like firing a gun through the atmosphere and firing one through water. So we're talking about a medium displacement, and we're not talking about gravity or anything like that.
But yes, Slayer, you're absolutely right. But I'm just talking about a way to represent it. And the way you represent it is a force, and you sum it with all the other forces, and you use Newton's law to do it. And gravity is a force that acts on it.
Hold on, but which gravity are you talking about? Because one gravity is a force and one gravity is not a force. They've defined gravity as a force and they've defined it as not a force. So is it or is it not a force?
Gravity can be represented as a force. The best theory of gravity does not represent it as a force, but I use gravity every day, Slayer, And I do not use general relativity, dude. That shit is too hard.
So
I use Newtonian gravity because it's good enough for what I need to do. Just like the flat Earth is good enough if I'm talking about throwing a ball between us. If we're gonna go play catch, man, go throw a football or something. I am not gonna use a spherical rotating Earth to solve for that football. I'm gonna use a flat non-rotating Earth. Now, if you tell me I need to throw that football 3 miles, we're gonna have some problems because first I can't do that. But even if I could, I'd have to account for like the rotation of the Earth at that point.
Okay, but so if you're only accounting for a flat stationary Earth, why would you assume that the Earth was moving if you never want you ever to it? And then second part, you said gravity was a force. I can capture every single force that I need to on a flat Earth. We can capture buoyancy. We can capture bubbles and measure how hard they pull up. You can capture the density levels. You can capture all this, but can you capture gravity and actually show it to me? Because if it's a force, you should be able to contain it and you should be able to present it.
Yeah, I mean, so can you capture buoyancy?
Yes.
And tell me what it is? So
yes, you can blow a bubble.
Charge?
You can blow a bubble and you can take
That's the charge of gravity.
a tarp. You can take a tarp and you can blow a bubble in there and you can blow different sizes and you can put a scale on the bottom in water and you can measure how much force that bubble, depending on the size of it, is pulling up. So you're measuring that force. I've captured the force of buoyancy right there and I'm proving it right there.
So yes, you could do the same thing with gravity.
So you can do the same experiment for gravity
Can
too.
you show that with gravity? You say y'all both can say.
Let me show you. Let me show it to you. Give me 2 seconds. Let me pull it up here. It's actually the last video I just uploaded maybe an hour ago on my profile.
All right, so we'll let him pull it up. Yeah, man. Look, Slayer, whatever gravity is.
Newtonian gravity was like for cosmology and not for like the downward vector that things drop.
That's the beauty of it. It almost works at all scales. It works very well at our scale, and we had to put dark matter in to make it work.
Well, what's a better representation of why the things drop at a certain rate? Is it electrostatics? Is that what most professors would tell you? I mean,
Pixel for everything. You could make it up for whatever you said. Basically, you can use it for whatever you want to. It's like hot sauce. You put that stuff on everything.
No, it's just universal, Slayer. It just happens to
I
work.
agree. That's what you're saying. You just said it's universal. You put it. Hot sauce is universal. Everybody here knew exactly what I was talking about.
Like charge.
So it affects everything equally, no matter what the size is your statement?
Okay, so
No.
I have a question. Hold on, Dragon. I have a question with that right there. You still have atmospheric pressure in there. Even when you take it to a vacuum, the atmospheric pressure is still there, and so is electromagnetism. And you don't ever single out those two forces. So therefore, you don't know what force is acting upon what ball in there. You didn't single out the forces, bro. There's still two other forces in there that you're not accounting for. You may make them minute, but that doesn't mean that they still don't act upon them whenever you put it in there.
Is that experiment serious up there?
Well, I mean, that's all atmospheric pressure.
That's
atmospheric
Cavendish,
pressure.
Dude. That shit's awesome.
Okay, hold on. Here's a second one for you.
Well, that's the same thing right there. You're still doing the same thing.
It's not the same thing.
It's the exact same thing.
You gotta do it the other way. You're gonna make it lighter.
Cavendish look like that.
It's gonna make it heavier. It's gonna put a very heavy mass under it.
I want to see it done the other way. I want to see him put a mass over the object and make it lighter because it's pulling up and away from Earth.
Okay, I can get down with that because
I would love to see that too, Tribune. That's a good
atmospheric pressure.
My man.
All you're doing is changing atmospheric pressure. Now the atmospheric pressure in between the weight and the ball is down harder. It makes you 100%.
Atmospheric pressure does not change because you.
Well, actually, atmospheric pressure is a constant around it until you put that big barrier underneath of it. So the atmospheric pressure underneath of it cannot be as great as the atmospheric pressure around it.
I mean,
put a barrier in the way.
That's a big fat no.
And just like on these,
the atmospheric pressure is all around you. I don't know if do you recall that the Titan thing imploding underwater or whatever because of pressure?
I don't think
there was like I don't know four.
You're believing a video that was played on Disney. I don't believe that any of that stuff really happened. That was a video that you watched. Anyway, I don't believe it. I'm sorry, I don't believe it.
Okay, you can choose to believe whatever you want. That's
well, y'all
fine,
believe what you saw on TV. Were you there or were you not?
Slayer, you're helping them strongman your possession.
Atmospheric pressure.
We're drifting away from the actual argument.
Yes, agreed.
The atmospheric pressure is all around you.
Agreed.
It's equally in every direction, so it cancels out. So that's why you don't feel it.
Hold on. Agreed.
So just because you hold your finger like this, that doesn't mean the atmospheric pressure changed between my fingers. It's the exact same thing.
No, I agree. Watch this. Let me get this right here. Let me turn on my camera real quick because what you're saying with, I agree with. So the atmospheric pressure, whenever you have the balls hanging like this right here on your end of your stick, the atmospheric pressure is a constant all around them. But when you add another ball right here and right here, the atmospheric pressure right here and right here can't be as great.
It's the same.
Off half of the atmospheric
same.
pressure, so the atmospheric pressure here is less, and it's greater here. It's less.
The pressure comes from the top, though.
It's all around
everywhere.
It
And
flows.
it's
It's like a
greater
liquid.
here.
It fills the container. The
So
air.
if it's greater here, then it's less here. It's got to push it this way, and if it's greater here and less here, it has to push it this way. That's the way pressure works. You can do this with a garden hose and put the balls in the way and do the exact same thing, or with a fire hose.
So if you
Pressure
bring
is
your
pressure,
hand
and
real
that
close to
you
a
were
wall,
changing
you're
the
gonna
Or
get
electrostatics.
You put a barrier in the way and you change the pressure. Now the atmospheric pressure is not a constant
You don't know how
around
to
the
argue with
ball.
this anymore.
You put a barrier in the way.
Slayer.
There's
bro,
also-
that's
I mean,
not
it
the
could,
way it works, man.
Well, you can say that that's not the way it works, but that's just a nuh-uh coming out of your mouth.
No. So
It's
if
just
that's your
not the way
belief,
it
okay.
works.
No. Hold on.
Okay.
If that's your belief, that's fine. Okay, we
Okay,
can move on
is
from that.
atmospheric pressure around you a constant until you put up a wall around you, and then it can't be a constant
Dude,
because
like-
now there's a
like-
barrier
like-
blocking the
When
atmospheric
you
pressure.
go to hug somebody, do you get sucked into them at the last moment because the gap between you closes and all of a sudden the
Okay, when you
atmospheric
drive
pressure
between
like
two 18-wheelers,
causes
you
it.
get
Ow,
sucked in.
shit! I broke my
Why-
hand. Look
why
at
would
me.
I
You
get-
got me
wait,
all
hold on.
crazy.
But wait a second, when you go to
So
hug
the
somebody-
last time I hugged my wife, we did not get sucked together
Hey,
like when we got like
hold
1
on.
inch apart because
Did you ever
of
had
the
a hug
huge
by my
pressure.
hand?
Wait a second. Wait a second. You're
Like-
both in motion already. You're not. Hold on. You're taking.
Just
a
follow
motionless
me.
object.
Like
Wait a
do
second.
this and tell me if you feel a difference in
Jorge.
the pressure between your
Jorge,
palms,
hold on.
man.
Jorge, you're taking an object in motion and an object in rest. You're co-mingling. Both an object in rest. You and your wife are an object in motion.
You gotta stop saying balls, brother.
Or is that not what he was hanging? Was lead balls?
So, listen, I'm going to reel it in because we got 30 minutes left, and I am calling it at midnight. So, it is what it is.
Okay, we took it too far.
It's just we're going on the same point over and over again. And the thing is, like, regardless of what, if misconception or non-misconception is happening, the fact of the matter is that the globe side is claiming that the downward vector is proof of the ball. And there's absolutely no way that we can verify that correlates, right? Not without begging the hell out of the question, right? So if I'm wrong on that, then please feel free to present. If not, we can go ahead and move on to the next point. Also, somebody's mic's doing something weird. Jay, it's your mic. Mute yourself. Thanks.
Is it better?
Yep. As soon as you muted, it stopped.
What was it doing?
It's like buzzing.
Oh, okay.
It's only when other people talk, though. When you talk, it's fine. All right, let me switch back up the thing since nobody's on their camera anymore.
Yeah, can I ask a question of Jorge real quick? Just kind of on that same line. Like just short and simple. Like could
Yeah, go for it.
could electrostatics be the reason for that downward vector? Like have you isolated that? Like because I hear a lot of videos on professors saying that it very well could be the reason for it, and it's a lot more measurable.
It's repulsive and gravity attractive. So the thing that holds us down to the Earth, we've only ever witnessed be attractive. So if it was electrostatic, we could charge things the opposite, and they would fly off the Earth with electrostatics. And I would tell you that would be much cheaper
But
to get
you
into
can,
space than
right?
having the way we do it.
But you can though, because electromagnetic levitation that disproves gravity.
Well, hold on. Wait a second. What about buoyancy, right? I mean, that's the thing. Like, couldn't buoyancy be the things that are just charged the right way to be repelled, and then we're just pretending that it's something completely different? Like, how have we
the
isolated?
idea that atmospheric pressure affects buoyancy more than, like, say, water. If you're a diver, you understand how buoyancy works, right? And you understand the pressures underneath the water. Now, if buoyancy was what was holding us to the Earth, underneath the water, you have to have weights on. And that is water that builds pressure the deeper you go. Under the idea that buoyancy holds you to the ground, once you surfaced out of the water, if you didn't have weights on, you would just continue to float.
You misunderstood,
Into the air.
Case. I didn't say that. I wasn't claiming that The question was from Jay to Jorge was, could electrostatics be the force that's holding everything down as the downward vector? His answer was no, because it's a attractive, because electrostatics is an attractive and repulsive force. But the thing is we don't observe everything get pulled to the Earth. We observe certain things actually go up, right? Now, investigation, but I'm wondering into the charge of those objects would be.
Yeah, so I mean, the only I know is to fly around the spiders, and that's called ballooning. And they spin little webs that are charged, and they do repel the small static charge that can build up on the ground. So there is some force there, but it's just
there's
not
also
enough. I mean, and
there's
that's
an MIT there's an MIT drone as well that's using that same force as well, that same principle.
What about the drone?
I mean, there's charge that builds up. The Earth is overall neutral, but there's separation of charge happens all the time. How we see lightning all the time. There is an electrical nature to the Earth.
Why would we say that the Earth is neutral when it's admittedly negative? I can't remember the exact number, but it's negative by a good bit. So why are we saying that it's neutral?
Okay, I was just thinking it was neutral, but I can go look at that tree. I don't want to overspeak. We might be acquiring a little charge from the solar wind or something. But
you guys are way smarter than me. You guys are way smarter than me. Well, most of you in here. And I just have a question. If the sun is localized, if we have a localized sun on a flat model, could you tell me where Mercury and Venus are?
There are lots in the sky.
They're in the sky? What do you mean?
Well, no, I mean on the round Earth on a globe scale, they're in between the sun and the Earth. And every 8 years, if I could just finish, every 8 years we got what's called the nodes, and then when they line up, every 8 years we're able to see Venus in front of the sun. Can you explain how that works on a flat scale every 8 years?
They're all in the sky.
Right, but so on a flat model, you want me to believe there's a localized sun that's closer to us than anything. But in between those two planets, as far as on the you have to find a way to understand this. Since you're going to tell me, I believe in the heliocentric model.
Can I interject? So what?
I need to explain it so I can
understand
it. Where is Venus?
Have anything to do with
where
us?
Who said it's closer than anything? Who in here said the sun was closer than anything, brother?
One at a time. Jay was first to stab at it.
Yeah, but what makes you think those objects have anything to do with us?
Well, they're in our planetary solar system.
And we see.
What does that mean?
We see
That's
them.
begging the question. That's the thing in question.
Right. And what I'm asking you is how that correlates to a flat Earth. Now, I can tell you on my scale, I can show you how that it intersects. And every 8 years, if I could just finish, every 8 years it intersects so that you're able to see Venus against the sun.
On both models.
So how does that work on a flat scale where every 8 years I'm able to see Venus? I need you to explain that.
Because
Case McCullough and I highly...
The star goes in front of the sun. But you're the one that came in here and said the sun was closer than anything else. I've never heard of flat
wait a
Earth
minute. I said the sun was localized according to y'all.
Oh, shit.
Wait a second. You asked us to be quiet while you speak, and we were quiet while you speak, so please let me finish. You're the one that came in here and claimed the sun was closer than anything else. Trouble and Tribune, did you claim that the sun was closer than anything else?
I did not, but I will claim that there is a model for it already, Case McCullough. You got to do just a little bit of research and look up the Neo-Tychonic model. It explains the position of the planets in the solar system and relative to a geocentric Earth. There you go.
So none of you know. None of you know.
He just explained it to you. What do you mean? He gave you
he said he referenced me a model to someone that someone made up to go look at, but you can't explain it to me just offhand, right?
He just
I have to go do research.
You asked a straw.
No, that's a literal question. Tell me how plants grow in a spiraling sun.
Tell me how it works in your model down to a T. Since you want complex.
Well, what I'm saying is here's the thing: if you're going to start telling flat, round earthers, and you want to really get a good conversation going, you have to be able to take the things that we've learned as indoctrination and show us how it's indoctrination and show it how it goes on your scale.
Well, you're literally just
the summer solstice and how plants grow and things like that. You don't have a good answer for those things. Do you see what I'm saying? So I would have
everybody's talking at once. It's getting irritating.
Model I would have an easier time believing in a flat model if you were able to relate some of those things to say, hey, this is how it works on yours, but this is how it works on mine.
Case, calm down for a second. So, Case, what you need to understand is that you don't have a one model set all be all for every phenomena. You have multiple different models that come together to explain multiple different phenomena, and then you can then take another step forward to try to see how they all anomalies of each things. Now, a lot of what you said after getting
We lost sound.
right?
Hey, dude.
Audio got weird. Tribune, your
Your
audio is
audio.
There's in no way, shape, or form and evidence at all towards anything for the flat Earth.
Your microphone went weird.
The way the Earth is going in no way has anything to do with whether we are a flat plane or a spherical planet, right? Now, you can strongly in a position and you can say, well, if I create a version of the flat Earth model,
my buddies at NASA hacked his mic.
and then I assert that this is the actual facts of how it would have to work. Is debunked, like saying something like we should see the sun at all times during the day, or sorry, at all times there would be no day and night on a flat Earth.
Your mic is messed up. We can't hear you.
I'll get completely ignored. Like there is a direct measurement of the
Everybody turn on your camera and point at your ear.
Vision is curved, not the Earth.
We can't hear you.
Tribune.
We got him.
That was a great speech that nobody heard, Tribune.
You gotta read the room, brother.
Where is the moon?
I can't see you guys. I literally can't see you guys. It's so tiny in the corner.
Well, where is the moon?
We heard it, but it sounded like you were a robot. So
yeah,
it was like man, this freaking sucks, man. Where's the last thing you guys heard?
We didn't hear
a lot of models.
Just continue your point. Just continue your point.
Who are you saying has a lot of models? The flat Earth or the globe?
Things like this get. All I was saying is like things like this get ignored. We literally have evidence, right? Direct measurement of the curvature of visual space. None of this is taken into account with any of the globe maths and the way that you guys see the stars move. And this is just going to get completely ignored. You don't have an explanation for this.
Hey, Ace, can I ask you a question about your model since you asked us one about ours?
Well, yeah, if you'll answer the questions that I asked.
We've already answered your question.
No, you didn't. You referred me to a video of some model.
was just very genuine, dude. Come on, stop doing that.
Again, you didn't
well.
even attempt to explain it. You pointed me in the direction of another flat earther.
What you're doing?
That you couldn't even repeat what he told you. I don't understand. Like you're acting like you answered the question. Where's the moon at?
You didn't answer anything with, Casey. You didn't answer anything with any sort of specificity, right? So I think that we've answered with equal amount of.
Asking for positions of planets. I'm
above
asking
us.
for positions
It's
of
above
planets
us.
on your scale.
Above us.
I can show you where they're at on my scale. You can't show me where they're at on your scale, but above you. Do you see the problem? Do you see the problem?
How many times would I say it?
Do you see the problem when you're saying it's above you? And I'm
no, you're invoking. Case, here's the problem. Hold on, everybody's freaking talking at one time, and you just keep asserting that we know a model, we know a model, we know a model, we know that you know. Hold on. I know that you know a model. I know that you have a prediction. I know that you can say the moon is 240,000 miles up and the sun is 93 million miles away, and though they're appearing in the same exact size in the sky, right? I know that you can say these things. How do you verify these things? I'm not making positive claims that I can't verify. That's why I'm not saying the sun is X miles, the moon is X miles up, right? I can give you a GP, a general position over the Earth, over the flat plane of the Earth, but I can't tell you the exact distance, right?
Sure.
I can't verify that. So I can tell you with the same amount of...
Right? What we can see with a telescope. Every 8 years I can see Venus in front of the sun. Yeah. I need you to understand that that's what I'm telling you about.
Yeah, it's not on an even path. Yeah, so just to make it simple, right? You're saying that the sun is higher. People already answered this, right? So I don't know why we have to double back. The thing is, you're saying
you claim a localized sun.
Yeah.
Where is Venus and Mercury in the sky? When I look up at the sky, where is Venus and Mercury?
It varies. How about that? It just like in your model, right? It varies. It depends on the time of the year. So sometimes it's lower in the sky, sometimes it's higher in the sky.
Right. I told
it's
you
always above the Earth, though.
On my model, you can see Venus against the sun every 8 years.
Same in our model.
And what I want to hear from
same in our model.
Oh, it's the same on your model. Well, can you explain why every 8 years? Because I can explain on my model why it's every 8 years.
Case. The reason why I just gave you the source, right, is because I didn't think that they were wasting you. So I was trying to catch up to speed. But the thing is that if you actually look into it, the neo-Tychonic model claims to be a kinematic and dynamic equivalent means the forces are the same and the movement of the actual planets and bodies are the same, right? It's identical. If it's identical, that means you can't choose one reference frame over the other. And this was even admitted by Einstein, right? He said when they came to the Michelson-Morley conclusion, right, which when they had to start developing relativity, that the conclusion from relativity was that either frame of reference was valid, right? So you simply coming up here and claiming that the movement and position of these things in the sky is proof of your model is ridiculous on its face. And replacement, hold on, replacement is a separate issue of falsification, right? So your model is falsified.
We have on your model, we have a local sun, a local Venus, a local Mercury. Is that correct?
Okay.
Local as in closer than millions. It's closer.
What you just said, right?
I would say it's probably closer than millions and millions of miles away. Yes.
93 million miles
but
away.
I can't see any of them right in the daytime, and I can only see with a polarized filter. I can see Venus once every 8 years.
You can see the sun every day in the daytime. What do you mean?
With a polarized filter, I can.
Wait a second.
With a polarized filter, I can. How come at nighttime of this localized sun that I can't see it at nighttime?
1 second, guys. Go ahead, Slayer.
When you do this case, you're doing it on a flat surface looking up. You're arguing that you're on a spinning ball. That's the argument point. We say you're on a flat surface. You're arguing about the surface we're standing on, and you're claiming that it's a spherical spinning ball. And that's where
that's the claim. You want me to believe that there is a flat face with a dome?
You're standing on a flat place.
A curve.
That's what you see.
180, half of a globe. You want me to believe that there's half of a globe on top of something flat? Where does that occur in nature?
You claim to know your model very well. Can you show me how you measured the distance to the sun, you personally, please?
It doesn't matter. I'm talking about what I can see.
So you're not going to show me.
I'm not talking distances. This is what flat earthers always do.
All right, hey, we're doing a train wreck.
Guys, take a breath, please. Take a breath, dude. And I'm not trying to poison the well. Just take a breath, please. Like, let's just have a conversation.
You asked us
I'm fine, but I'm trying to say what you're trying to tell me is all these planets are local. And I
Can we get?
I can't see these planets.
So I'm gonna get So we're not gonna get any acknowledgement of the refutation of your point, of that the replacement is a separate issue of falsification. Like, can we just agree on that and then move on to the next point?
So as long as your claim is that all the planets are in the dome and local, correct?
I'm not claiming a dome. I didn't claim a dome.
Okay, but all the planets are local, right?
I'm claiming that everything is above us, nothing more, nothing less.
Okay, so what's closer, the sun or Venus?
Depends on the time of the year.
Or Mercury.
Depends on the time of the year.
Did you know we can see how far the sun is away by measuring the distance to Venus and then measuring the distance to Venus to the sun?
You can zoom in the sun and make it bigger, which kind of makes that seem like a weird distance, you know?
Case, how did you personally measure the distance?
Slayer.
I didn't do that. They have they have telescopes and they have things that they do distance measuring meters. I don't know how it works.
We can stop interrupting people in the middle of their sentence.
So, I think, Tribune, you just said that you know that depending on the time of the year, Venus could be closer or Sun could be closer. How do you measure that, and what's your proof for that?
We know how it works. Well, because you're seeing them in front of it at times, according to you guys. So I'm just going based on what your guys saying the data is. I haven't checked it myself. All I've claimed definitively is that. So just to be absolutely clear, the only thing that I've claimed definitively is that these celestial objects are above us. That's it.
So if the sun goes round and round on a flat Earth, right? If it goes round and round on this little flat disk, right?
Yeah.
Why would Venus or Earth or Sun move up and down in elevation? What is that phenomena?
Why would I have to answer the phenomena that's doing that when I can't even answer the phenomena that holds them up in the sky in the first place? All that we can do is say that all that we can say is that it is, right? Like, we observe the sun moving this way, right? I can't definitively prove that this particular force is making the sun move that way, because I can't isolate the force with a control or a variable. I can't stop the sun moving, right, to prove the cause and effect relationship.
Are you familiar with M49?
Depending on the flat earther that
Hold on, Dragon's talking.
or any of the Globers speak to, usually it's a projection, or it spirals up and spirals down. And
Well, who cares what they're talking about?
Circumference. Well, because again, we don't know what model you're following, right? For winter, there's a different model. For
Well, you're
summer,
trying
there's a
to
different
well,
model.
you're trying to pigeonhole me into a specific model, right? All I've done is make specific claims, like there is no curvature, right, which is claimed by the globe. Curvature. So claim. I've also claimed that
Here's a
there is
picture of
no
that. I like this
that
guy.
there is no evidence of the globe that it does not fall into a fallacious category, right? So you can't give me a proof of the globe that doesn't beg the question, reify the consequence, rely on authority, attack my credentials, or anything of the like. You can only, at very best, the very best arguments that the globe has is to invoke a mathematical model and then say that a prediction, which is not really a prediction because it's an observation, right? We
almost
observe
the
these
same
things
thing
for.
happened
Hold on.
with
I'm in the
the
middle of a sentence.
unicorn.
I'm in the middle of a sentence, guys.
sorry.
We observe because it's not really a prediction because we have observed these things for hundreds of years. So backwards engineered into a mathematical model and then claim that the observation is proof of the mathematical model is fallacious on its face. And that's the best that the globe actually has for its positive evidence of it. So, I'm also
basically, you're
true.
not
You can get
making
a
any claims,
telescope.
but
That makes
everything
sense.
is above us. But everything
You
is
can get
indoctrination and lies. But you have no claims to make in support of your claim, or to
What
say,
do you
hey,
mean?
you know what? I know
So I
this
did.
is
So
this.
hold on. I did
Here's
make
how it
claims in
really works.
support. I did make claims in support of the flatness. For one, I showed you a picture, right? And then for two, we have
Stop,
all
bro.
these.
Stop. I
Hold
can
on,
show you a picture. Stop.
Casey, listen. This will be serious for a second. So,
I
and
can
then
show
here
you a
we
picture
have,
of the Earth. What does that mean?
and then here we have the actual evidence, right? Mirror flashes, radio waves, sonar, long distance photography, microwaves, all works off of line of sight. And then we also have electromagnetic wave propagation over a
Line of
flat
sight. So you
Earth.
believe in
That's
that?
just
Line
you
of
It's a
saying
sight.
lot of
bunch of
evidence
words.
right there, dude. Because if you
Yeah,
look at
there's
those
no.
radio waves, that one will blow your fucking mind. You know what I mean?
I mean,
Yeah. Does anybody know
this
what
alone can't be answered,
M49 is?
right?
M49. Are you familiar with M49?
Go on.
M49. I bring this up because this isn't a part of our explorer system. And M49, and I'll let you Google how far it is away, but since we've already discussed it, we're not going to talk distances and measurements on distance. We'll just let that go. Now, M49 on a clear night, I can walk out with a pair of 20 by 50 binoculars and I can see light from it. I can't make it out, but I can see the light from it. Light travels very, very far. This thing's light. I know you don't agree with the term light years, but it is a very, very far distance away. Even if you just looked in a telescope, we could all agree that that's far. Now, why is M49 so significant? Well, M49 is so significant for how far away it is. We'll both agree that it's farther away than what you consider our localized sun. How come it is that I can get in any vantage point to any elevation anywhere on the earth, and I can see any constellation, any stars, depending on where I'm at on the earth? The only sun that I cannot see is our localized sun at nighttime. Does that make any sense?
Yeah, because the air is so dense, it
No,
blocks out
I
light.
just
light
told you
can-
I can see
Hold on.
Air is so
M49 with a
dense
pair
that
of binoculars.
it blocks out
I don't
something
care,
that's
but
only a
hold on.
thousand or a few
Please
thousand
let me
kilometers
finish.
away,
Please
versus
let me
a
Dude, Slayer's been
galaxy
quiet,
that's
letting you guys talk, dude. That's
239
kind of rude.
million light years away.
Yeah, it's
I
ridiculous.
need you to look at how far M49 is away.
I
We will
need you
all
to- I
agree
need
it's
you to be
decidedly
quiet.
further
I need
away
you
than
to
what you
zip
consider
Case.
our localized sun.
Listen, we know you're.
I need you to be quiet.
Yeah, let somebody answer it now. We understand the argument. Slayer, go ahead.
Okay, so air is dense and light can't penetrate through it. So you're expecting to see something that you can't see through. Now you can claim that this other light you can see through the dark. We all know you can see lights better at night than you can during the day. And if you don't believe that air gets so dense that you can't penetrate through it, try to read a street sign above you, 100 feet above you.
Well,
100
wait a
feet in
second.
front of you,
Did
I
you
bet
say
you can't.
that we can see light at
Better at
nighttime?
night.
So shouldn't you be able to
Better.
see the sun at nighttime because it's closest to the sun? Jeez.
It's localized. Thank you,
I
Bradley.
literally have the answer right here.
Hold on.
Myth,
Okay,
fucking
watch this.
busted.
Just
Hold on.
everybody, look. You can just read, and then
Read
you
that
you,
and
The
you
we'll
get
host
some
gets it.
answers.
Host
I'll
laughing off
demonstrate.
screen. He gets that shit, bro.
Hold on, I'll demonstrate it for you. I'll do it with a flashlight and a map.
I
and
know
I'll-
you will. You'll do it with something that's a flashlight. Do it with a lamp and take the shade off of it. Then
Oh,
do the
why do
same
you
test.
wait? But why do you want me to? Why are you trying to dictate the experiment that disproves you, buddy?
Hey, buddy, because things aren't a
Oh,
disk.
because you have to
The sun
dictate your
isn't a
model because
flashlight
you know
on
your model
anybody's
can't.
level.
Hey, look,
The
if
sun
it's
is not a
math,
flashlight.
local
You're trying
sun,
to direct the beam of the
local
flashlight to
sun.
make your
Look,
stupid ass claim.
look.
Use a
Oh yeah,
lamp,
that's my stupid
take the
claim.
The
That's
shade
sun
off
is
of
a
it. That's
beam.
how the
Guys,
sun works.
It's a
ladies,
perpendicular.
please.
Case,
Hey,
Case,
look,
let him do
Whenever
the
you guys are
experiment.
ready.
I want to see the
Oh,
experiment.
I
Case,
know.
look.
let him
Y'all,
do the
good luck
experiment.
seeing that sun
His
at
whole
night. I'm
math
gonna get out of here.
formula.
Y'all be good.
Look.
the sun is a beam. It's a perpendicular ray on your model.
Case, if you're listening, the answer to your question in short is field of view. If you read this paper behind me, clearly explains how our vision changes from the local field to the less than local field and then to the far distances, right? We basically go from elliptical to hyperbolic to parabolic fields, right? So again, the stars are not on the same plane as the sun, and the planets are not on the same plane as the stars. So that's why you're seeing those effects. Pretty simple when you think about it.
Hey, I wanted to say something, Tribune. Earlier you're talking about like you didn't have a model for why the things are above. You said I suppose only the things are above me, not why they're up there. And I can tell you why. I mean, it's because they have inertia and there's gravity acting on them. And that's why.
Well, that'd be,
up there.
yeah, that would be your guess of why that happens, but.
Well, it's kind of dated by that. It's not my that's it.
Hold on, Jorge. Hold on? Can you recreate?
I got something that dismantles that if
Jorge,
anyone lets me in. Yeah.
Jorge, you're
Yeah,
claiming
please.
something in science. Can you
After, sir.
repeat that on a smaller scale here on this playing field, please? Can you hold something up with gravity here on a smaller playing field? Like in a vacuum, can you do it right here on this playing field? What you're claiming about the luminaries and the stuff being held up because of all this stuff that you just claimed, gravity and all this
Man, I
other
gotta
stuff.
get my kids to bed.
Can you do that on a smaller
Thanks for
scale
coming on, Steve.
on this playing field?
All right, Slayer, I got a flashlight here. I'm trying to replicate the little experiment you were doing. See, like, even if I say, like, the sun is like a flashlight and you can see the circle, I can still see stuff outside.
Dragon, hold on. You're jumping the conversation. I just asked Jorge a question.
I was getting my flashlight. Sorry.
Okay,
I'm gonna think about that. Yeah, he didn't know. He didn't know we were talking, man.
Yeah, but can you? So
it's
you,
hard with gravity because gravity is such a weak force, right? And the Earth
Okay,
is so big, so that makes it hard to kind of recreate it. But I hear what you're saying. So let me think about it.
If you can't recreate it, that would be your belief system, not evidence. That's just
No, that just means it's a difficult experiment to recreate, and I don't have $1 billion to build a mini Earth above the Earth to cancel out the gravity of the Earth at the smaller range, right? So at least you have R squared working for you. So I would just have to build something that is equal mass. I want the same force. So like the square root of the mass of the Earth. So that's still pretty big, though.
But you just gave us your belief system. You didn't give us evidence because if you can't recreate it, that's just your belief.
No, that just means it's hard to recreate, man. Like,
Well,
can you build me a laser that will burn a hole through the Earth? Build me a laser.
I don't think that there's something that can burn a hole through the Earth.
Dude, they have laser etching to do all kinds of crap.
I don't think they can burn a hole through the Earth.
Those lasers it means
something that they didn't. I don't think they can destroy something that they didn't create. We're stuck in a prison. They didn't create it. They can't destroy it.
Man, I thought we were getting somewhere.
You're trying to get me to believe something that you can't recreate. How ludicrous is that? You want me to just take your word? That's ludicrous.
Please don't take my word for it. I've never asked
anybody.
Could I ask you something about that gravity real quick?
Sure, Jay. Sure, do it.
So you said that it's a weak force, right? Well, that weak force is also its weakest at the atmosphere, right? So how is it keeping all that atmosphere in there while we're going 66,000, something odd miles,
600.
around the sun?
66,600.
Well, so our motion is not causing a force on those objects, right? So it's not like there's an atmosphere in space that is trying to drag them away. The only force acting on the atmospheric particles that are around us are the gravitational forces. There might be some electrostatic stuff mixed in there, but the gravitational forces of all the other planets, and they're very close to us and very far from the rest of them. And I had my little dandy formula, but the force of gravity falls off as 1 over range squared, so it drops pretty fast. So Earth is the only thing pulling them.
I have a quick question for you, George. So forces, is it true that all forces have an equal and opposite reaction?
So Newton's law, when two things exert forces on each other.
Applied force.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, I was just double checking something. You're good. Here's another piece of evidence that I found that I thought was pretty damning. Right, this is because you like math, Jorge, so you'd probably appreciate this. This is again to go with waves, and I like this because it's not just electromagnetic waves, but this can be any wave, right, including earthquake waves, scalar waves, and things like that. This is an Earth flattening transformation for waves from a point source. And when you read it, Jay, clearly says an Earth flattening transformation developed for wave propagation problems and can be formulated in terms of uncoupled scalar Helmholtz equations. So this transformation wave problems is isotropic, spherically symmetric media with a. I'm trying to skip to the good part. There we go. Earth flattening transformation provides the means for including the Earth plane layer formulations of wave propagation problems. So,
dude.
Yeah.
Will you please read the last sentence of the abstract for the live?
On here is trying to see through that thing. It becomes important to include the effects of.
No. It starts with the far field form.
He's just trying to do a gotcha on the spherical Earth part. But
Yeah,
It's not a gotcha, man. Read the abstract. Like, you got an abstract up here, brother. Read it. Like, there's a sentence at the end of the paragraph.
I was literally in the process of reading it.
No,
so
I hear you. So I just wanted to see if you read that.
Yeah, important to include the effects of curvature for even relatively short propagation paths and wavelengths.
Yeah. So Simon, this is. I don't think this is the paper to make your argument. I mean, I like it. I like math and stuff.
Well, I just think it's interesting that you're calculating it away, right? You're flattening it out to make the equation accurate.
Thus the eigenfunction, which is like it's a cancel out basically. It just cancels out. It's not a real.
It's a simplification of models that can be done easier on a smaller scale because you don't need the sphere.
It's not just the small scale though. You guys always say that it's the. Hold on, you guys. Small scale, then it wouldn't be for 2700 lessons on occasion for the lower frequencies for 10,000 miles, right? You're just saying small scale because that's what makes sense to you in your head.
Hold on. Where does it say on here for 10,000?
No, I'm not talking about this paper in particular. I'm talking about radio wave propagation in general. If you do your own research, you'll see that lower wave propagation, lower than 40 hertz, it's irrelevant. It's all the same point. It's all the same point, Dragon OGK. Address it. Earth flattening transformation, go.
Dude, you just pulled up a paper. You said it's for 10,000 miles, and you can't show it.
No, I didn't. You're misunderstanding, and you're trying to twist what I say because you don't want to deal with the actual argument at hand.
Show me the paper that's for 10,000 miles on a flat Earth, please.
So, seriously, just Google the record for radio propagation.
You're the one who's saying that that's how it works. Show me.
It even has an explanation. I didn't prepare a slide. Sorry. Hands are tied. Next.
Okay.
It's just a simple fact.
Great.
Dude, I can contest that what he's saying is true. I could try to pull it up if you'd like, but
yeah, if you want to, that'd be great. I mean, there's just nothing I can do. I'm literally streaming at the same time as doing this, so I didn't prepare that slide. Maybe next time.
Earth flattening, guys.
It's hilarious.
It's a means for including the Earth's curvature.
It's kind of like
in simulations of wave propagation.
Flat top, non-rotating top.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. So this is interesting, right? So it's taken. How far can we take the flat approximation to do this propagation? And so, what are the first and second order effects associated with the curvature that we need to take into account to? And I would guess that that's what this paper is about, so that we can solve the wave equation. It's Maxwell's equations, right, with certain boundary value problems on a flat. Dealing with solution vertical waveguide, and so it's about making it as simple as you can, or as complex as it needs to be for the particular problem, right? What are the tolerances of the solution? What errors can you accept? I wanted to say one thing, Tribune. Earlier we were talking about the atmosphere homogeneity, and I think as usual, like y'all were both kind of right. Like up about to 50 miles, it's pretty homogeneous, except for water. Water tends to kind of stay lower, but the rest of it, like, it's homogeneous at 60 miles. And then from then on, it starts to separate out kind of by molar mass. So the heavier things stay lower than the lighter things.
Why do we have heavy metals in the atmosphere then, like sodium at 69 miles?
That's so funny. Big Daddy Russ, so disingenuous. Tribune can't accept that he gets caught lying, just like Jay and Ron. I literally fought to read that last sentence, right? I literally fought to be able to read it. So it's absolutely ridiculous.
He just didn't catch what Jorge was saying.
Jesus Christ.
Like I didn't try to hide it. I guided him to what he was saying.
He did.
Like, come on.
It worked. It worked out in the end. That was a good paper in support of the globe Earth.
I mean, I guess you could say that. I want to look into it a little bit more. I actually just found that one today, so I read the abstract. I was like, that looks pretty good. I guess I missed that last little sentence, but I do think it's interesting that, again, regardless of what's causing the so-called effects of curvature, right? Because when we're dealing with wave propagation, I did happen to catch the head with like magnetic waves, so.
You usually don't have audio difficulties, man.
Yeah, it's the first time I ever.
Well, my kid got a.
Yeah,
my son got a hold of my phone earlier, and I had my headphones plugged in, so I was worried that something like this would happen, but it is what it is. We'll get it corrected here and move on. But regardless, what was I even saying? So when we're talking about the propagation of the waves, right? Electromagnetic waves in particular directly has to do with light. And when we're talking about the way that we see things, let me go ahead and pull that one back up. We're talking about the way that we see things. We're obviously talking about our visual field, which directly has to do with light. So I don't have a direct great answer for why that is taken into account curvature. I would say maybe it's just the way that these waves are propagating in general, but I'd have to look at it.
So let me go back to that sodium in the atmosphere question that somebody just asked. How do you know there's sodium in the atmosphere? Jay, was that you who said that, or was it Slayer?
That would be. It was Trey, I think.
That was me. We do have sodium in the atmosphere at a height of 69 miles. There is a neutral layer of sodium atoms.
Okay, Trey, I don't want you to go into like the whole thing, but how do you know there? Did you measure it?
Did I measure it?
Are you just?
Yeah.
I measure it? No, your scientists.
No, I'm asking you the same what scientists did, right? So scientists are telling you. Scientists are telling you that, hey, look, we can take samples, you can do observations.
Wait a minute. Do you believe in settled science, my friend?
So, do you believe in science or not, bro?
I'm talking.
Settled science or science? Are you a scientism person or you believe in science?
I believe in science.
Because yes, people like science is the belief in the ignorance of the experts,
he's trying to
right?
muddle the waters, so he's going to answer me why. I asked the question first. He's going to explain why there is sodium.
People can be wrong.
I don't have to explain anything. He's going to explain it.
Well, I'm asking you, so you believe
even scientists can be wrong.
The sodium layer,
fundamentals can be wrong.
Okay, but you believe them
That's
on the sodium layer.
But you
believe them on the sodium layer. Okay.
I don't think you made it.
Jorge would agree if he was being honest. That's science. Fundamentals can be wrong.
Oh, there is sodium there. I'm not arguing with that. I'm saying you believe that without having to go check. Meanwhile, you're questioning the rest of the stuff.
I don't think he ever said that he believed it. I think he was just asking a question based on what your science claims.
No.
Yeah,
if you let Trey go on, if you let Trey go on, he will tell you all about it. He's a strong believer in sodium in the atmosphere.
I believe everything they say. So I'm going to take every bit of evidence I can into accordance with their model. And if the model cannot fit together with the evidence given, then there's a problem with it. So
you just had to explain science to him.
That's the ultimate example of pseudoscience and cherry picking. You only know
enough. No, you just explain science. Not everything is true and unfalsifiable.
You only know enough to know that you're right, but you don't know enough to the fact that you are actually not wrong.
Goof. I'm not trying to add home, but shit, dude.
Like,
I'm telling you, you know just enough to think that you're right.
Order the court. It's 12:04. I'm 4 minutes after the fact, but we're not just going to cut it high and dry, right? That'd be rude as hell. I want everybody to get a chance to say their final piece. So without taking more than 2 minutes, Jay, when you're not talking, could you please mute your mic? Um, yeah. Go ahead. We'll start from the bottom. Jorge, go ahead, and then Dragon, you're up, and then we'll just go all the way up the line, and we'll call it a show. Appreciate you guys joining up. We've been at this for like 2 hours now. For those of you who are just joining, you can catch the entire conversation on YouTube and Rockfin. Check out Troubling Tribune. We appreciate the support. Lots of love. George, go ahead.
Thanks, man. Once again, thanks for having me on. Thanks to the panel, Jay, Ron, Trey, Dragon. All y'all, nice talking to you. I'm going to prepare some remarks for this for next time. But go study science. Curiosity is awesome. Skepticism is the core of science. Remember the scientific method. Definitely tie yourself to what you can observe, but keep in mind that the human body is not a precision scientific instrument. And if you want to base reality only on what this human body can perceive, you are denying yourself most of reality, because most of the universe exists in wavelengths at energy scales that we can just not physically probe with our bodies. Thanks for the good discussions, guys.
I agree with that, George. Great discussion. Dragon, go ahead.
Hey, so hopefully I didn't offend any of you guys. I'm not trying to like attack anybody personally, just the whole concept.
We're all offended.
Okay, well,
I'm just kidding. Go ahead.
Nothing I can do about it. It's truth, you know. When you say that you're seeking the truth, actually go seek the truth instead of looking for stuff that just revalidates your own opinion. That the universe is vast. We don't have all the knowledge, and don't act like you know everything. You have to trust the experts. And I know there's a lot of mistrust out there because of the last 2 years, 3 years worth of stuff that happened, but the pedigree of scientific evidence is there. It's validated. It's scrutinized over and over, which is why it has made it to the point where it becomes a standard knowledge, so it can propagate as a standard knowledge. It's not like somebody just comes up and say, okay, the Earth is globe now, so everybody has to believe that. Can I finish up? This is my closing remarks, right? You can say anything afterwards. Give me 10, 20 more seconds. So just do yourself a favor and keep it open. If you're seeking the truth, then go in and hear the people who actually speaking the truth, not the guys who are on YouTube making videos and going for an hour uninterrupted.
Awesome. I just wanted to say real quick, Slayer, before you take your 2 minutes, that I think that was a hilarious projection for starters,
Hilarious.
and I agree. I do agree with the notion, though, of accepting that you don't know everything and don't have a confirmation bias, right, when you're going out searching for information. So I totally agree with that as well. I wish that more Globers would actually take that information instead of just asking me dumb questions like prove how far away the sun is in your model, or else my model can't be false. Slayer,
Yeah, but
go ahead.
you cannot prove.
Okay.
Hold on a second.
So hold on, Dragon. No, you had your 2 minutes. You asked for your 20 seconds. You
Commented on.
I'm the host. I get to
He's
comment.
the host. This is his show, bro.
Okay, so that's how. See, this is
So,
what I'm talking about.
that's how I go. So,
no,
hold on.
uninterrupted.
You
Just
got
go
You
the
on
still
and say
live on a
stuff.
ball in your mind, dude. It's gonna be okay.
Look, you can't
It's not on my mind,
control
dude. You
your
live on a
mouth
ball
for
too.
2 seconds. You can't control your mouth for 2 seconds, bro. You have no control over your emotions or your mouth.
Yeah, I'm allowed to say that what I thought you said was a projection, right? You don't have to agree with me, but you don't have to say anything about it either. I didn't present evidence. It's not. It's not an argument. It's Dragon. It's not an argument. It's just my opinion, right? Slayer, go ahead.
That he gave his for Jorge too, and Jorge sat there and accepted it. Jorge's was a little bit different. Okay, so Jorge, I agree with almost everything that you're saying. And what you said was a complete projection. We admitted that we didn't know things in here. We admitted that we didn't know the distance to the sun. We admitted that we didn't know the distance to stars. Y'all claim to know everything, and there's no way y'all can ever say that y'all are wrong or you don't know something, because of the fact when you do, your entire model falls apart. We admit that we don't know things all the time. We admitted the entire time the guy up there at the top was yelling at us, trying to make his false claims that we didn't know. We don't know the distance to the sun. We don't know the distance to the luminaries. We admitted that we don't know things. So therefore, I would say that we have an open mind, but y'all down here believe that it's a globe 100%, and when you're 100% on something, you're closed-minded to anything else. If the gate is 100% closed and you 100% live on a globe,
You were close-minded. We used to believe in the same globe, and we were open-minded enough to change to something else. Our beliefs alter based on new information that we perceive daily. So please take your own advice, stop projecting, do your own research, question the people that indoctrinated you, and go back and look for yourself with an open mind. Mahalo.
I guess in chronological order, I'll go. So I agreed with a lot of what you said, Jorge. I'm not going to take another stab at Dragon. But like I agree with what you said, Jorge.
Y'all like that closing argument?
Up until you like brought it back Dragon. But like I agree with what you said, Jorge.
Slayer, mute up.
Yeah. Up until you brought it back Dragon. But like I agree.
Slayer, it's you.
Slayer, mute up.
What's up?
You got it mute up. You're echoing. There you go. Jay, go ahead.
Yeah, so I agree with you on most of that because I would say there is no such thing as settled science. And you made a good key point onto that, even though you like appealed back to the authority at the end. But I would just say continue on that notion because like the sun has been different distances in our past. There are new things to learn, and the fundamentals could be completely destroyed one day. It could happen, right? Everything's possible.
Anything's possible. Trade, fire away, man. Thanks for coming.
I just got one thing to say to Dragon and Jorge down there. Nuh-uh. And stop projecting on me and study your model. I love you guys, but study your model and not just the part that you're educated in or have a degree in, because that's going to stop you from learning anything else about your model. Being a specialist in one specific part of anything makes you pretty defunct in every other aspect. And it's better to be like, well-rounded rather than just closed-minded. And I am open to any new information that you guys bring to me. And I would love to see you get involved with your model besides what you see at NASA, because there's so much more to understand about the universe than there is just what you see on your news feed. So it's gonna be a long realization for a lot of people around here when they realize that truth is stranger than fiction. And even though you think we live in la la land, you guys are the ones that are in for a hard realization one day. And that's all I got to say.
Very well said, $2 Trey. I completely agree with that sentiment. And the thing is that regardless of what model you believe in, science, even the mainstream, is on the precipice of adopting an entire new way of thinking or a new set of physics. They have multiple different. I'm trying to remember the source for it. Model universe with physics, different forces of physics that have different predictions, and then they mark how close they are to each prediction. So there is a range of freaking models, and they're now possibly even about to say that we come from a black hole, like we're living inside of a black hole, our whole universe. So it's like it's all up for grabs, man, regardless of what model you believe in. And I think that the huge benefit to this whole True Earth movement is that a whole bunch of people who otherwise weren't very science-minded have decided to take a serious look at the way physics works and the way everything presents itself to actually pick through it with a fine-tooth comb. That can only be a benefit, regardless of what the truth is. So I appreciate everybody joining me. This has been a fantastic show. We're going to be doing the open panel Monday. I invite each and every one of you to go and check that out. Check it out on the Troubling Tribune YouTube. We appreciate all the support. With that, we're going to go ahead and call it a show. We're playing a sick intro on the other side, folks, over on TikTok. So if you needed another reason to go ahead and subscribe, then there it is. So I will see you guys on the other side. I think we're doing another show Sunday as well, so I'll see you there. Alrighty, folks. Went ahead and ended that. Let me go ahead and pull myself back in. I can't hear nothing. Can't hear nothing at all. Man, throat is sore. Let's go ahead and pull back up the theme page. Thank you all for joining us for another fantastic True Earth debate. This one was pretty bad for the globe, right? I prepared for a couple different scenarios, and yeah, I think it went well. If we had any newbies in there, we probably got to see a good show. So I do want to go ahead and close that out. Let's check out the chat. Who is still with us? Oh man, sorry, I missed some super chats. James Lee. No, we're on YouTube. We can't play James Lee while we're on here. That's intense. She was by far the best moderator I've seen on YouTube debates, for real. Thank you. If you guys have anybody else that you want to have a debate with or schedule with, I am open to moderate, depending on the days and times. So just something that I'm throwing my hat in the ring there, since people tend to say that I'm good at moderating. Awesome, dude. Jeremy Bird, much love. Lord Racer, JP, what is up? Phoenix, JK, Un and Dr. Ryanated, Ash. It's okay, ballers. We were you once. That is true. Nominal, One Neo, JK, MFT, GA, Lord Racer, Mario C, King Shin. All right. If I'm missing anybody, I do apologize. I'm trying to, let me catch these super chats real quick. We are going to at least shout those out. Oh, actually, I can't because I can't find them. What are you going to do? And people were being gifted memberships by Justin Johnson. Man, huge shout out to those who did donate. I'm sorry that I can't actually pull up who did donate. I always do like to show the love, but it's all good. You know who you are. And, of course, huge shout out. And, of course, we got some stuff going on over on the Rockfin as well. Robotic Double, Willie Nanny. Jeez, dude, that was awful. Yeah, there were moments that was pretty bad. That's true. Carla Neild. Yep, go ahead and catch up. You are spelling my name correctly, by the way. All right, Lord Byron. We got just in time to hear Glober explain gravity. Awesome. It's harder to keep up with these when I'm doing the show the way I'm doing, but we'll figure it out. RG, Setneg, thanks for the donation there. Enjoy that rewatch. Huge shout out. Mischief Brew. Fishhead, Montana, Nominal, Jeremy Bird. Guys, we have gotten a ton of support over at the GoFundMe, so definitely go and check that out. We are almost there. We are already over $1,000 towards the Flattoberfest. So if you guys are going there and you want to meet Old Troubling and his family, then definitely go there. We do appreciate it. And of course, there's the Cash App, there's the Rockfin, there's all the other ways that people show their support, and we do appreciate it. All the love. It helps keeps this thing going. It is definitely getting tough at times, but we are out here crushing it, having great conversations, and I think the way that we handled the True Earth debate today for TikTok will be the way I handle it more on for the future. Much more visuals, because people really just aren't getting the arguments, But I'm actually starting to think that they don't want to. I don't there was basically nothing that I brought up that got addressed directly, and it was pretty sad to see. But what can you do, right? When you're stuck in a religion and you can't let it go, the only thing you can do is just beat the dead horse and continue doubling down on fallacious arguments. So, without further ado, let's go ahead and get this outro here. Man, super tired. Wish you all a good night or day, depending on what side of the plane you're on. And until next time, I'll see you Sunday. Peace out.